never play the games that real lovers do. So maybe we're better off. Maybe I'd still like this from you. Come on and lead me on. Come on and tease me all night long. Loving you, I know it's right. I'll always need you, I'll never leave you. Come on and lead me on. Tease me all night long. I'd rather be a fool with a broken heart than someone who never had a thought. Lead me on. Tease me all night long. I'd rather be a fool with a broken heart than someone who never had a thought. Lead me on.
Oh, yeah.
Tease me all night long.
Reminds me of my good friend David. Not the romantic part of it, but when I first got into radio, that's Maxine Nightingale, by the way, Lead Me On. When I first got into radio back in 1979, I think, I actually met a disc jockey back in 1978 who let me into the radio station with him just to hang out and watch how things worked. And one of the songs that he was playing, this was new at the time, was Maxine Nightingale, Lead Me On. And the reason it means so much to me now is it was one of the first songs I remember seeing spin on the platter at a radio station that I would work at in the next couple of years. But, my good friend David passed a few years ago. And so that, has even deeper memories. There was nothing romantic between David and I. Although, if I was going to have a boyfriend, I swear it would have been David. I swear to you, it would have been David.
It's time for the truth, and you found the home of it right here.
He wants the white suburbs to be terrified of Black Lives Matter and to think that it's some sort of revolution against the police, etc.
It's time to giddy up.
It is.
Let's do this, Chicago. Let's make the census cowboy proud.
But we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department. The Minneapolis Police Department is rotten. So when we dismantle it, we get rid of that cancer.
Here's your truth-telling, freedom-loving, flag-waving host, John James.
1, 2, 3. Come on now. By the way, by saying that, if I was going to have a boyfriend, it would have been David. I want to apologize to Mike and Tom, who think I am their boyfriend. You're always my compadres, both of you. Thankfully, they're both good friends. Actually, they're brothers-in-law, so keeping it all in the family. I've got some great people in my life. I thank God for them, past and present, and you included. You included. Thank you very much for being here. It's Freedom's Pep Rally, and we're going to look a little bit this morning at how freedom is starting to depart our presence. Why? What the reason is. One of the reasons, there are a lot of reasons, actually. One of the reasons is racism. And, you're not racist. I know you're not right. I'm arrested. Maybe somebody is. I don't know. I'm not racist. I don't care what they say to me. I don't care. Go ahead, say, well, that means you're racist. No, it doesn't. That means you're racist. It means you're racist. See, the name calling comes from the people who are guilty of what they're accusing. This is becoming more and more evident. And so never let it bother you. Never let it bother you. Children, we're dealing with children. We're dealing with the weak-minded, those who cannot critically think, those who don't think as an individual, those who are part of the mob, want to fit in with a mob, they're afraid of being canceled more than life itself, more than losing their life. They're afraid of being canceled. They curl up into the fetal position if they are triggered by something. I mean, look, we know who the weak are, and we know who the racists are. It's not us. It's not us. Never has been. Never has been. Now, I'm not saying there are no racists among us. That, there's racists among us. I mean, I believe there are more. See if this makes any sense to you. I believe there are more virtue signaling white people who are racist against other white people than there are white people who are racist against minorities. I think that's where we are now. Because who is pushing the Marxist critical race theory? Who is pushing the systemic racism? Who is pushing the white privilege? By and large, it's white people on the left. And why are they doing that? Well, most of them because they're being told to do it. They're being told they need to do it because they're not thinking. You have to sort of feel sorry for them because they're not thinking. They don't understand they're being used. They're being used like pawns in a chess match. So you first have to understand that. You have to cut them a little slack because they're just echoing. They're not thinking. They're not researching. I've researched. I've looked at and I see what's happening. And only destruction is going to come from what they are peddling. Only destruction of America, American exceptionalism, American unity. Again, it's Joe Biden is very typical when you think about it, a little more senile, but he's very typical of how the progressives work. Because he says things that are the opposite of what he does. But if you're on the left, you're told you're not supposed to see that. You're only supposed to believe what I say, not what I do. Don't believe what you see, believe what I say. And they fall in line. And they believe it. And they walk in lockstep with the people they identify with. Not the people necessarily who they are, who they want to be, but who they identify with. And that would be the left. Joe Biden says we need unity. I am going to bring unity. Joe Biden, if you look, if you're on the left, you're going to believe he has brought unity. Everything's so much better now. The people are coming into the country. It's beautiful. Why would he want to go to the border and bring attention to the fact that we are experiencing hell at the border? Why would he want to do that? No, he would rather, sleep in Wilmington, which he's been doing a lot of lately, sleep in Wilmington, Delaware, where he spent most of his summer. He doesn't want to be president. He doesn't want to be away from home. He wants to be right there in the basement in Wilmington, and that's where he's staying. I mean, the White House, you might as well rent out the Lincoln bedroom. Like what? Who used to do that? Obama or Clinton? I don't remember who. But, he says he wants unity. And instead of getting together with the border and assuring us that he's going to try to make things better at the border, which he's not. He's not going to make things better at the border because he doesn't want to. Because he can't. And we'll show you why. He's doing a victory lap with Kamala Harris on the stimulus package. So they're going around touting the stimulus. That's what they're doing today. Tomorrow, I don't know what's on the schedule now. As of yesterday, there was nothing on the schedule for Friday. Probably more naps for Joe in Wilmington. But they're out touting the stimulus package instead of working. I believe if anybody believes that Joe Biden's going to be in office 4 years, I don't. I really don't. I think his days are limited now. But I believe Donald Trump did more work probably in a single week than Joe Biden will do in 4 years. If he were to stay president, he won't. Kamala Harris, I don't know. I don't know how much work she'll do. You quote work. You could also, AKA destroying the country. I don't know. She's a racist. He's a racist. Sheila Jackson Lee is a racist. Shirley Jackson Lee. Sorry, that's what Joe calls her. Shirley. So we got 9:19 right now. We'll get into all this. We got a lot to get to this morning. Invite your calls. I don't care what side you're on. I really want to set a goal of getting more people who are like on the fence, on the edge. I mean, there are people who are so far gone progressive. They've been poisoned by the indoctrination, literally poisoned, so they can't get back without professional counseling. But there are those who are objective, who are wondering, what's going on here? And those are the people I'd like to make it a goal to try to reach. And I've got plenty of resources. Plenty of resources we bring to you every day on the show. This show will help you understand what's going on and why it's going on. And this is going to be a good show for all of that. So stick around. Right now, let's take a look at this day in history. It's the 18th of March, and this is the Associated Press.
March 18th, 1965. Alexei Leonov becomes the first person to walk in space. The cosmonaut from what's then the Soviet Union leaves his Voskhod 2 capsule secured by a tether. Astronaut Ed White makes the first American spacewalk months later. 1922. In India, Mahatma Gandhi is sentenced to prison for civil disobedience. It's part of his long struggle for Indian independence from British colonial rule. Gandhi is released after serving 2 years behind bars. 1940. Nazi Germany's Adolf Hitler and Italy's Benito Mussolini meet at the Brenner Pass in the Alps bordering Austria and Italy. That's where Mussolini agrees that his country will enter World War II on Germany's side and against Britain and France. 2005. Doctors in Florida, acting on a state judge's order, removed the feeding tube of brain-damaged Terry Schiavo. George Filos is the attorney for Terry's husband, Michael, who fought with Schiavo's parents in court over removing the tube.
It was an emotional occasion. Prayers were said at the time.
Schiavo dies 13 days later. In 2001, musician John Phillips of the 60s group The Mamas and the Papas dies in Los Angeles. He was 65. Today in history, March 18th. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
Twenty-two past 9 o'clock. Freedom's Pep Rally is powered by the Gun Shop on Coney Circle in Augusta. They were packed yesterday. They were packed. I was going to stop in, and I said, nah, because I was bummed out. You know what's been on my mind all week, and I'll tell you this. And this is probably superficial and all that. And, but this procedure I've got tomorrow has been on my mind all week, not because I'm worried about it. I'm not worried about it unless they find something. But this has been on my mind, and this is so shallow. But it's me. It tells you a little bit about me. I've been bummed about this for a week now. Again, not because I'm worried about the procedure or afraid they'll find something, well, although that would suck too, but that I'm going to have to, starting right now, starting at 9 o'clock this morning, I can have nothing but clear liquids. See, that has bummed me. That has literally ruined my week. And I love to eat. I look forward to it. The carrot at the end of the stick for when I'm doing this show is noontime, when I can get home, pull out the Schwann's bags and cook something up, or go to one of the restaurants that I haven't been to many restaurants lately. Yeah, because of the just inconvenient, with the masks and everything, but. And money, too. I like to save a little money, so I've got freezer full of stuff. But now I know I'm going to get out. At noontime today, I'm going to get out, And there is no carrot. Only a 16-ounce bottle of water. And I know I'm going to get through this. But it's going to be tough. Yes, I'm expecting you to feel sorry for me. And thank you very much. Yesterday at the White House, Joe Biden made his St. Patrick's Day address. Wait a minute, I think I've got a transcription of it right here. My fellow Americans, Happy New Year. All right. That was it. No, and then he said, God bless our troops. That's kind of nice. He always says that. That's one thing he says that's good. I don't know if he means it, but who am I to judge? I don't know. I assume he means it. Republicans are contradicting what Joe Biden is saying about immigration. Then again, so is Joe Biden. So that's nothing new. And we know just by video, just by anecdotal evidence, the southern border is overwhelmed by a surge of illegal aliens. Oh, I know it's easy to blame President Biden, but that's because it's all his fault, right? They say that people, they're young people. Okay, here's a question for you. Here's a good question for you. For the last 4 years before Joe, of course, you don't hear this now, even though it's happening tenfold. What it was as far as immigrants crashing the border, happening tenfold now under Joe Biden. All you heard the Democrats say is, and AOC was a loud, obnoxious, shrill, annoying voice that was doing it, one of them, that Donald Trump is going in there, and they used Donald Trump. They didn't use the fact that it was actually not Donald Trump himself who was going in there and dealing with these people. But, Donald Trump is ripping children from the arms of their parents. And in the same breath, they would say, we've got to do something about these unaccompanied minors. Okay, so they're either with their parents and being ripped from their parents' arms, or they're unaccompanied, meaning they're with a coyote or nobody. Which is it? How can you rip a child from nobody's arms? How is that even possible? This is what they want you to believe, though. Don't believe what you see, believe what we tell you. And that's why I say there is a disconnect in the leftist brain. They don't want to believe anything except what they are told to believe. They are, as parents like to say, they are compliant with commands the way a child should be to a parent. They are very compliant, which is why I call them children, because they are complying with orders, marching orders from their people, who include not just the politicians in Washington, but the media, who is all part of it. Later on this morning, we've got a great lesson from the media for you. It really is a good lesson. It makes sense. So you might know that, of course, we didn't get it from America. Again, we had to cross the ocean and get it from Sky News, because Sky News will report what is really going on in America. The American media will not. Just like the American media used to report what was really going on in Russia, Pravda would not. Well, now we have Pravda. You probably get more truth from Russian TV. In fact, there is some Russian TV audio I have I have aired here before, which makes a hell of a lot more sense than CNN does. Oh, CNN, again, caught in a bit of a quandary. We'll get to that. I got so much to get to. It's all simmering in my head. Let's start out with some good news, though, about taxes. You've got a month. No, I don't mean till April 15th. I mean, you've got till May 15th. How about that? Well, I say that's some pretty good news. I don't know about you. I know anybody getting a big tax refund, you want to get them in early. You want to probably you have that money back in your account, that tax refund back in your account on January 15th. You probably get it done post haste. But if you run a business, if you know you're going to have to pay in, you're probably not so eager to file your taxes. Well, the IRS has pushed back the deadline to May 15th, according to CNBC. But you even get more of a reprieve because May 15th falls on a Saturday. Woo-hoo! Because you know you're going to wait till the 15th to start your taxes. So you'll have until Monday to finish them. May 17th. Now, that's not firm, by the way. If they say May 15th, because, Postal Service runs on Saturday, so maybe May 15th will be the deadline. But likely not. That's just a guess. That's a hunch. Don't say, I heard that on the radio. It must be true. Remember, don't believe the media, guys. So taxpayers have a little more time to file their 2020 returns and pay their 2020 money they owe. Have you got your stimulus yet? Oh, they're getting them out quick. That's what Joe's doing. Getting them out quick. Those stimulus checks. Apparently, there have been a lot of money has gone out. So it'd be enough to fill your car by the time you get it, probably. Did you know gas prices on average have increased 30% since the election? Wow. We've seen them going up. You fill your vehicle now, you let it run down near empty like I do. And I've done that many times. And I was, looking up around $39 or so, 35, 30, between 30 and $39. And now I'm up to around $54 when I fill. Wow, that's sticker shock, right? According to Just the News, a majority of U.S. voters would prefer gasoline and other fuel prices be kept low over moving the country toward less dependence on fossil fuels. This was done with Just the News, John Solomon's Just the News, and Scott Rasmussen. 52% said they'd prefer keeping the price of gasoline and heating fuel low, while 38% said they'd rather focus on reducing America's reliance upon fossil fuels. A related study finds that 38% of the people are not actually people, they are sheep. And I'd like to meet the 38% of how rich are the people, or do they even drive? Oh, no, we'd rather have the Green New Deal than have gas prices low. I'm sure if Janet Mills were polled, she's part of that 38%. I don't know if she was. We've got a 9:33. Got to take a break. Back with more. Get a lot of audio today. I want you to hear what we've got. Like I said, we've got a piece from Sky News that I wish a lot of people would hear. I have a lot of people, when I post something that's, somewhat, anything you say is controversial today. You can't say anything that isn't controversial. And I guess I go beyond the pale sometimes because I call out racism. I'm not afraid to talk about racism and all this. Mike and I have just, we're beyond that. I mean, we're beyond worrying what people are going to think. And So I post things that most people wouldn't dare to post, and I suffer the I'm not suffering really. I rather enjoy seeing the people come back at me, but they get all upset, they get angry, but then they don't listen to the show to see why, because it's all to promote things coming up on the show. So what they'll do, and they'll go drop the F-bomb, and I had a woman, a real lady, dropping the F-bomb on me yesterday. After something, I can't remember about John Kerry. Well, he was eating an effing food, you effing fool, or something like that. First of all, no, he wasn't eating. John Kerry was not eating. He just wasn't wearing a mask. I'm John Forbes Kerry. I liked Mike Violette, likened him to Thurston Howell III. Lovey, where's my teddy bear? Give me my teddy bear. No, not the regular teddy bear, my Teddy Kennedy bear. Yes, that's right. That's right. Yes, and make sure he's all warm and tucked in with me. Oh, thank you. I wonder if he calls his wife Lovey. He does have that tone about him, that I'm better than you. Do you know who I am? I'm John Forbes Kerry. My middle name is Forbes. You've heard Forbes before. We're very rich people. And I married into the Heinz family. In fact, my son Christopher is a big businessman over in China with Xi Jinping. Yes. Yeah, we know all about it, John. Now put your mask on and shut up. 9:35, back with more. I'm John James.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Hi, this is Tony Esposito from Rockland Ford. This year has been crazy, and it has majorly affected the car market. Here's what you need to know. COVID has slowed down new car supplies to a trickle, and factories are still shutting down because parts aren't available. Now, what does that mean for you? That means that your used car has never been worth more. In fact, it might be worth more than what you paid for it. Rockland Ford wants to buy your car, and we are paying top dollar for everything, especially trucks. So swing by or give us a call, because we are buying everything. Also, the redesigned 2021 F-150s are here, and they are easily the best F-150 I've ever seen. They have tons of new features and a great new look. You can lease one of these bad boys for as low as $379 a month. Don't forget to maximize your used vehicle's value by selling it to us. That's at Rockland Ford, home of the Rock Bottom Deal, Route 1 in Thomaston.
Lease for 36 months, 12,000 miles a year, $3,500 down with qualified credit.
Decorate with items from Townline Antiques this spring to invigorate your home and your spirit. Do you love classic decor? You'll find enchanting artwork, glassware, signs, and hundreds more items around every corner. Or maybe you enjoy collecting books, comics, coins, sports memorabilia, watches, or classic electronics. Townland Antiques has cool, rare, and one-of-a-kind items that you won't find anywhere else. There are more booths and extra space, so come see what's new, like a huge selection of stuffed animals, including an abundance of bears and bunnies just in time for Easter, and a new display of art glass that's absolutely dazzling. They're all expertly handcrafted into unique shapes and colors that are breathtakingly vivid. Trust me, you'll just have to see them. Have you been considering selling your items at Townline Antiques? There are now only 2 booth space left in this beautiful shop, so be sure to contact them as soon as possible. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassaboro Town Line.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Mostly cloudy for today with the chance for rain showers. Highs will be in mid-40s to near 50 degrees. We'll see rain change into some snow for southern Maine and the coast overnight. Only light accumulations expected, if any. Clearing skies on Friday, but cool and windy with highs in the 30s. Sunny and nice this weekend, 40s to near 50 degrees. Saturday, 50s on Sunday.
Freedom's Pep Rally brought to you by the Gun Shop on Coney Circle in Augusta. Open today, tomorrow, Saturday. Get in there and check it out. I keep telling you, one of the things that delights me about going into that store is, well, number one, the people are just so nice. And, you know, the last couple of times I've been in, there have been, both times have been on Saturday morning. And I don't think it was the same guy. It wasn't the same guy, but a guy has come into the store, obviously somebody who knows the business and frequents it, I would imagine, comes in and just loudly, with a store full of people, says, "Good morning, great Americans," or something like that. And I'm thinking, I love it. This is gun people. This is my crowd, man. This is where I feel at home. And it's just a beautiful store, and they've got beautiful people there, too. It's 9:39. I'm John James. And boy, there's so much to talk about. I don't know where to start sometimes because I want to do it all. I know we aren't going to have time to do it all. Let's start with Texas. I posted this on Facebook this morning. Attorney General Ken Paxton is standing up to the climate hoax. And this is something else that triggers the left when you call it a climate hoax, but it is. It's exactly what it is. Just get over it. The climate is changing. Okay, we aren't denying that. We please don't say what they do is they conflate the two. They conflate our being climate deniers with the fact the climate is changing. Don't do that. We realize the climate is changing. We deny that it's catastrophic and all caused by man and woman, to be fair. That's the nuts and bolts of it. We don't deny climate change. Do not. We see it happening. How can we deny it? Because we're realists. Here's what we are. Here's the difference between, now, if you're a leftist, welcome. Seriously, I'm serious about that. But if you're on the left, think about this. Don't say, get mad and tune out. Think about this. We use critical thinking, which means we can acknowledge the climate is changing because we see it with our eyes. We hear Al Gore talking about it. We hear Michael Moore talking about it. We hear John Kerry, Joe Biden, AOC, who wakes up at 3 a.m. worried about it, talking about it. And we believe them. The climate is changing. So we take that part. We will take that component of what they are saying and say, yes, you're right. You are right. The climate is changing. Here's where the divide comes. And I've done a lot of research on this. I've read books on this. The climate is not changing. It's not catastrophically changing, and it's not all caused by man. It's not going to kill us, and man didn't cause it all. Should we cut back on CO2 emissions over time, as research and development allows? Sure. Of course. We want cleaner air. Although the air in a lot of the country, like Maine, isn't dirty. Janet Mills is all hot and bothered to get the windmills and the solar panels going. Spend all our money on windmills and solar panels, which are very unreliable, by the way. And in Maine, we don't. The biggest problem we ever had in Maine, it wasn't a problem either, by the way, was when all the paper mills were operating. Well, thanks to the business climate in Maine and, the paper industry, there's no more of that. I mean, we don't have a problem in Maine. Yet, we have one of the biggest climate hoax pushers in the country. In the Blaine House, spending our money on foolishness like the offshore wind. What's that going to do to the fishing industry? That's a big question. They want offshore wind out there where, spinning around, killing birds, scaring fish out. They don't think of cause and effect. All they think about is feelings. How's it going to make people feel? If we don't build any windmills, we don't build any solar panels, and instead we build nuclear power plants, then we can wean ourselves a little bit more off fossil fuels. But no, anything that makes sense we don't want. We only want nonsensical stuff. Because John Kerry says that's what we need, more windmills and solar panels. John Forbes Kerry, who's about as climate smart as I am a rocket scientist. I'm John Forbes Kerry, big friggin' deal. I'm John M. James. Kiss this. you maskless wonder. So Texas is leading the way here. Ken Paxton, the Attorney General there in Texas, is standing up to the hoax. And he's standing up for America's energy independence. Yesterday, he announced that Texas and Montana are leading a lawsuit along with 19 other states to restart the Keystone XL pipeline, which has cost literally thousands of good-paying American jobs and is sending oil prices skyrocketing. And it's also going to put American troops in harm's way. There's already destruction of oil facilities overseas. How long, with no reliance on our own oil, how long before we're sending troops back over into endless wars, Joe Biden? Oh, we don't want endless wars. Well, then stop. Stop them. Take away our dependence on other countries for our main resource, oil, when we have plenty of it in the U.S. and Canada and Alaska and in other places throughout Texas, throughout the United States. Oh, we can't have the pipeline. No more drilling or fracking on federal lands, after he said, I'm not going to ban fracking. Whatever they say, the opposite is true. And that goes for a lot of Republicans, too, by the way. Not Donald Trump. You can hate Donald Trump all you want, but everything he promised, he did or tried to do, but he got no help. No help. You imagine the amount of extra work it took him to get things done, knowing he had to push and push and push and was on defense 4 years? It was so much harder for him. Joe Biden can't even get through a day without going back to sleep in Wilmington. Here is Ken Paxton's announcement from yesterday. From Texas.
Today, I'm announcing that Texas and Montana are leading a lawsuit against the Biden administration for once again failing the American people, killing tens of thousands of high-paying jobs, and making us more dependent on foreign energy by canceling the Keystone XL pipeline. This pipeline is one of the most significant, clean, and reliable energy projects in a generation. And yet, in an irrational effort to appease far-left environmental radicals, Biden violated the Constitution and killed it. Joe Biden must not be allowed to unilaterally hurt our country, damage the economy, increase the cost of everyday life, and break the law like this. I won't let it happen. Rest assured, the Democrats' far-left environmental agenda doesn't end with their attempt to sabotage Keystone. This is just the first battle of what will be a 4-year war for me and allied states like Montana to keep our energy sector flourishing, ensure energy jobs are booming, and increase our country's energy independence. And so, Mr. President, I'm sure I'll be saying this many, many times in the coming years, but we'll see you in court.
I love it. I really do. You know, I hear that, and I have all kinds of hope. I wish Texas, Montana, and all the other states, hopefully more will get on board. I wish them all the best of luck. Maybe we can get some of our faith in the justice system restored. Oh, and just as an aside, speaking of that, I don't have all of the facts in front of me. All I have in my head is what I remember reading. I think Michigan was involved. It seems that courts now, after all of the lawsuits from Donald Trump's campaign have been dropped, now courts are starting to find major problems with the election. And one judge even said there was major fraud in the election. I'm not making it up. I can't tell you what the source was. I don't remember where I saw it. You might try Populist Press or Citizen Free Press. It might be at one of those. Otherwise, I can't tell you. But people are starting to come around a little bit. So, you know, just when you think there is no hope, maybe there is. We always have to hope. Faith, I've lost a lot of faith here in the last year since the election. But I've still got all my hope intact. Going back to the climate hoax, There's a guy named Mark Morano. Mark Morano, Murano. I spell his name because I want you to remember him. I want you to look him up. He is author of the book, which is an awesome book that maybe you should add to your collection. Just a suggestion. It's called Politically Incorrect Guide to Climate Change. And it's excellent. I would recommend that one and Gregory Wrightstone's Inconvenient Facts. Those two books are a start on the climate books that are out there with real science and charts, actually. NASA charts in Gregory Wrightstone's book, which are available on our website at legacy1160.com/FPR. So Mark Morano, author of the Politically Correct Guide to Climate Change, was on Fox and Friends talking about Joe Biden's massive tax hike for his Build Back Better campaign, for the Great Reset campaign. The tax hike will affect all of us. Doesn't matter what Joe says. Remember, what the left says and what comes true, two different things. They are not one and the same. What they say and what happens are totally opposite. So Joe Biden says taxes will not go up for anybody making under $400,000 a year. So you know what that means? That means your taxes are going to go up. One way or the other. It'll either be a tax hike, it'll be lesser tax credits, your standard deduction will go down. It won't necessarily be a tax hike, but they'll offset something to make it seem truthful if you look at it literally, but if you look at the result, it's going to mean higher taxes. So this tax will affect all of us, according to Mark Morano, and it actually dwarfs the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. So here is Mark Morano and Fox and Friends.
The last stimulus was $1.9 trillion. This tax increase is looking to be $4 trillion of a federal confiscation of wealth. And this is going to be part of the Build Back Better plan. So in a way, it's actually designed to harm America and middle America, because what they're trying to do is essentially level the economy and then build it back up, and partially in this green image. So yes, this is going to affect everyone and everything in our economy. And what President Biden has done is he's going to be sneaking all sorts of extra goodies into this that you wouldn't normally expect. This is their climate policy with this $4 trillion tax hike coming up. I remember Nancy Pelosi's famous line on Obamacare: we won't know what's in it till after we pass it. We won't know what the tax increases and what the impact on the economy will be until after they've passed it, and then they try to smooth it over between the houses. You know, this is in a sense, the progressive dream, what's happened with the lockdowns and then the massive increase in debt and the massive spending and now massive tax increases on top of it. What it's doing is it's getting more and more Americans dependent on government. It's going to harm more and more Americans economically, which gives a justification for more government aid, more government handouts, more government programs, more power by the progressive politicians who want to wield all of these plans.
Now, this is it. They want to wield the power. And what they're doing this by convincing the weak-minded, those, if you believe the government, I'm sorry, I'm going to throw you in that basket of weak-minded. I don't care who makes the promises. I didn't believe anything Trump said. You know, it's like, prove it. Well, he proved it. None of this that Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, what a joke, what a freaking riot, that she's even the vice president of the United States. I wouldn't want her as the vice president of my student council. But what they tell you and what bears out as time goes by, two different things. You watch, two completely different things. What they tell you and what happens, different. Don't believe them until you see the fruits of what they say will happen. You're not going to see it. With Trump, I didn't believe it. But then I saw the fruits. And, after a while, if somebody keeps doing what they say they're going to do, or they at least try to get it done, building the wall, then, I start to believe them. I'm not saying Trump never lied. Believe me, I'm the last one that's going to say Trump never lied. I could tell when he was lying, though, couldn't I? I told you that. I could tell when he was lying. I caught him. I thought I would never vote for the guy after I heard a couple of reports where he was playing his own agent on the phone and building himself up, saying, I'd get him. These girls would come in. Madonna once dated him. And it was him. You could tell it was Donald Trump because he didn't change the way he spoke. You don't find anybody else in the world who speaks like Donald Trump. It's fantastic. He's fantastic. He was great. And I'm thinking, my word, this guy's going to be our president. How can you believe anything he says? But then he became president, and he started doing what he said he would do. Joe Biden won't do that. Joe Biden won't remember what he said, for one thing. It's 9:55. Heather Sprague coming up with us after 10 o'clock. We're going to talk about a big rally that's going on in Augusta tomorrow. It's going to be going on nationwide. I heard Shelley Rudnicki, our friend over in the Maine legislature, Shelley Rudnicki did a Facebook Live last night. I love that she does that. I love that she does Facebook Lives. She tells people what she feels. She tells people what is going on. And she doesn't care. The thing is, she doesn't care what the other politicians think of her. She doesn't care. I love that because I would be just like her. I don't care what they say. I don't care about being canceled. It doesn't bother me because I have to live with myself. I have to live with what I do. And if I feel I let my constituents down to appease the people who disagree with me on, just about everything, then I'm not going to be able to sleep at night. Shelley's not like that. Shelley was saying, they were all social distance when the cameras were on, there with their masks on over at the Civic Center. She wants to go back to the State House, but they don't want to. COVID. So they're spending umpteen thousands of dollars a day to sit there at the Civic Center. They're paying that to the city of Augusta, to use the Civic Center when they could be in the House chambers. She said, because after the cameras go out, they get up. Nobody's social distancing. They're just walking around like it was any other day. When the cameras are on, though, they are there. And she's calling out the Democrats and maybe some of her own party. She's a Republican. But she doesn't care. Good for her. Let us know what's going on behind the scenes. It's our future is at stake. They're our representatives. We need to know what's going on. They ought to keep the cameras on all the time. Make them squirm a little bit. It's 9:57. Back with Heather after the news. I'm John James.
1160 WSKW.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
Interested in cutting your fuel oil bills by as much as 40%? Then call your Energy Kinetics System 2000 Premier Dealer, Pools, Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, and ask about the System 2000. You can save up to 40% off your heating cost and have all the hot water you need with the System 2000 from Energy Kinetics. Whether you're planning on replacing your current boiler or building a new home, stop into the Pools showroom at 19 North Street in Waterville and see the System 2000 from Energy Kinetics. The System 2000 runs on oil or propane, can be converted between fuels with a simple burner change, is whisper quiet, and can save you up to 40% off your heating fuel cost. If you own an older boiler, help keep it running more efficiently with a cleaning and tune-up. And don't forget, when you need emergency service, call Hool's 24-hour service department at 872-6762. Hool's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, your System 2000 Premier Dealer.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Mostly cloudy for today with a chance for rain showers. Highs will be in mid-40s to near 50 degrees. We'll see rain change into some snow for southern Maine and the coast overnight. Only light accumulations expected, if any. Clearing skies on Friday, but cool and windy with highs in the 30s. Sunny and nice this weekend, 40s to near 50 degrees. Saturday, 50s on Sunday.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Andrew Dimbert. The tornado threat is shifting east. That storm system made its presence felt across 3 states overnight, says ABC's Jim Ryan.
In all, 25 tornadoes were seen from Oklahoma to Alabama, 16 in Alabama alone. That state's average for all of March is only 5. Some buildings were torn up, power was knocked out to nearly 20,000 homes and businesses, but somehow no one was seriously hurt. Today, the threat moves into Georgia and the Carolinas. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Russian President Vladimir Putin says the U.S. will have to take Russia's interests into account and that he wishes President Biden good health. That's in response to the president telling ABC he thinks Putin is a killer. Today, the president will address the nation's coronavirus vaccination progress. A House Judiciary Subcommittee will hold a hearing on violence against Asian people as the investigation continues into the killings of 8 people at spas in the Atlanta area. 6 victims were of Asian descent. This is ABC News. President Biden telling migrants not to head to the southern border. More and more are. Thousands of children arriving alone are in U.S. custody. And now nonprofit groups in Texas are stepping in to help some of those arriving navigate the asylum process. And the world may have hit peak gasoline. ABC's Chuck Severson says some experts think 2019 will go down as the year we use the most gas.
The world's once insatiable demand for gasoline is unlikely to recover to where it was before the pandemic, says a report from the International Energy Agency. Gasoline use cratered during the pandemic as cities shut down and many people began working from home. The report says that trend will likely continue as normalcy returns. Also a factor, many governments have been pushing for low-carbon alternatives. And though developing countries will use more oil and gasoline, that'll be offset by consumers and automakers shifting to electric vehicles.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News.
If you drive a car, truck, SUV, or vehicle of any kind, you need Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. That's right. With the free Get Upside gas app, you can get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time you buy gas. Nearly 3 million people have earned cash back with Get Upside just for buying gas.
I always use Get Upside. Some months I make $200 to $300.
I love getting money back for things I use every day. It's just free money for buying gas.
There's no catch. It's simple. And you get your cash back right away.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code TRUNK for a 50-cent per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 75 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Earn cash back on gas on every fill-up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code TRUNK for a 50-cent per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TRUNK.
Here's a man who won't be controlled by the government. He'll keep his guns. He'll keep his gas guzzler. And he'll keep his thermostat where he damn well pleases. Here's the friendliest man in America, climate change denier, John James.
Okay, all right. I always feel the need to throw a disclaimer in there. I am a denier of catastrophic man-made climate change. I am, said Sam I am. Uh-oh, I'm sorry, that was racist. So, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. So, yeah, no, the climate's changing, but it's not catastrophic. AOC, go sleep tight, little one. It's not going to wake you up at 3 a.m. It's not killing us here. You know what's killing us? You and your stupid hoax edicts that stop the drilling and fracking and stop everything that burns fossil fuels, stop the cars. They want us all to drive electric cars. They're all going to be electric cars with the federal government now, which, I'm not saying that's good or bad. Some of the electric cars probably will be good in the federal government. But what about the federal police? who have the FBI. I mean, what if there's a high-speed chase or something? It has been proven time and time again, mostly in California, that these things go for a while, and then right in the middle of a good chase, the battery dies. Then what the hell are you stuck with? Where are you going to find it? Oh, is there going to be a charging station? You're going to have you're going to have a gas-powered generator with you, right? Vroom, vroom, fire that baby up, huh? Charge her up. Come on now. It's such stupidity. It's wacky is what it is. 10:04 right now. Heather Sprague is on the phone with me. Good morning, Heather.
Good morning, Maine.
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing wicked good. How are you?
Wicked good. Wicked good. You have organized a bunch of these rallies in Augusta, haven't you?
Yeah, last year, I helped organize. I'm not taking all the clout here, but yes, I helped organize rallies and get the word out, vote freedom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, great American. And I love your posts, and you've been censored. I see you've been censored in the past.
Oh yeah. They don't do 7-day bans anymore. They do the old 30-day ban.
Oh, I know. Well, I got my business, American Women Who Bear Arms, and another one. We were limited or shadow banned, as they called it. I'm still shadow banned on my business. Right America Media just got out of jail for 90 days. They do 90 days.
It's awful.
Yeah. So it's
awful. They don't want to hear the truth, John.
They don't.
They're scared of it.
They are afraid of the truth. And the truth will set them free. It will keep them free. And they deny the truth. They deny what they see. They deny what we try to tell them. And they only listen to what they are told to believe by the left, by the media.
That's right.
We're in trouble.
Good old-fashioned brainwashing, I guess.
That's exactly what it is. We like to use the term Kool-Aid drinking, don't we? They always, the thing is, they always tell, well, you're the Kool-Aid. Who's the Kool-Aid? You're the Kool-Aid. Yeah, right. Come on, smoke another one.
No Kool-Aid here.
No, absolutely not. The only Kool-Aid here is the good stuff that doesn't have any brainwashing chemicals in it.
That's right. With the truth.
Yeah, I actually like truthful Kool-Aid. I've always been a Kool-Aid fan. Not good for the teeth.
That should be a new brand.
It should be Truth Kool-Aid.
Truth flavored Kool-Aid.
Oh, I love it. Oh, you're awesome. All right, let's come up with a business plan, Heather. Now that it's out there, somebody else is going to steal it, like they did David Hogg's pillow idea. Did you hear about that? We'll talk about that later. That turns out to be a funny story. But anyway, so there's a big rally on Saturday in Augusta. Tell us about it.
Yes, it is a worldwide rally. Actually, it's happening simultaneously all across the world. On March 20th at noon. For us here in America, it will be at your capital. Like I said, it's going on 40 countries so far, all over the world. There has been flyers sent out. They're all over Facebook. I'm going to post some locally in my stores today.
Great. Now you're in.
If you want more information and you haven't seen the flyer, you can go to worldwidedemonstration.com.
Worldwidedemonstration.com. Now, you're in the Bangor area, right?
I'm not, actually. I'm in the Mid-Coast area.
You're
near Rockland.
Oh, you're... Okay. Why did I think you were... Maybe because I saw you on Channel 5.
Probably.
That's probably what it was. And I've always thought, oh, Heather's from Bangor. I remember you organized a thing in Thomaston. I do remember you inviting me to that, and I wasn't able to get to it. So that's why, because that's right.
Yes, I did. We were out there to support America and freedom and support President Trump, and we'll probably have more of those if things don't smarten up in the state soon.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's getting to be a real crisis, and it's happening so fast. I mean, we're less than 60 days into Biden's term, and look at the crisis we have at the border while he meanders aimlessly around the country, touting his stimulus package with commie.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. Worldwide
what
protest.
What bothers me, John, is the National Guard is over there protecting D.C. from I don't even know what.
Right.
When they should be on the border protecting America.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. They're making the border.
And just what is the National Guard protecting D.C. from anyway?
They can't tell. An armed insurrection like January 6th.
Yeah.
First of all, it wasn't an insurrection. Second of all, Heather, where were all these arms? There was one gunshot fired, and it was a cop.
Exactly.
It's
they're trying to turn everything that they're doing and project it onto us.
Right.
To continuously make us look bad. Nobody will listen to us or believe us, and they can still run their circus.
Bingo.
From the giant circus tent in D.C.
Amen.
Yeah.
Oh, you are right. Under the big top, that is the dome. You're right.
It's an embarrassment. What's going on is a travesty. Just like I said on the news, we've got our kids are suffering. You know, people are suffering from depression, and the drug problem is huge. Suicides, it needs to stop. We need to open the state. Stop with the political theatrics, because that's all it is. It's all about control and fear.
And I think, have you read I ask everybody I talk with when we start talking about this kind of stuff, if you've read the book by Saul Alinsky, Rules for Radicals.
I haven't read it, but I know, I know what a useful idiot is.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's what China called Joe Biden. And that's exactly what they are. And Rules for Radicals, not a long read, but it certainly it'll give you some insight into exactly what's going on right now, because they're running the playbook, and they are running the table right now on everything in that playbook. And
exactly.
It's easy to see.
We are being misrepresented by our legislators. I mean, we have no representation. Shelley Rudnicki is doing awesome.
Oh, she's great.
And I want to thank her and give her a shout out. She's awesome. She's a wicked awesome patriot. I love her.
Yeah, she is.
People need to follow suit. They need to do their own research. They need to turn the TV off. Look inside your heart and mind. Know your purpose. Stand up and protect your rights for your family, your kids, for everybody else's kids and their family, and just do the right thing. Well, it's common sense, really.
You would think, but it doesn't seem to be so common, does it, Heather?
No, it's very unfortunate.
I
never thought I'd live to see these times, John. But
I know.
We're dead right smack in the middle of it, and
Yep.
I'm going to do all I can to try to make Maine great again. And help make this nation great again. Because over my dead body, will I leave it like this for my kids and my grandkids and their kids and their kids.
Amen. I love the way you think. And that's it. The New Hampshire's slogan is right, although I don't know if anybody in New Hampshire believes it. Live free or die.
Absolutely.
Give me one or the other. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
and that's how everybody should live. I mean, if you're living in fear of this virus and everything that they're telling you on TV, you're not really living. You're already dead.
No, you're not.
And it's sad.
That's absolutely right. And we are living in fear. And I've got a couple of great stories about Florida coming up. And you're going to love it because CNN actually completely altered their narrative. And I will juxtapose two different narratives regarding Florida and California. And it's pretty amazing. It's pretty telling. And it's clear that it's all being done in the name of power and control. And the left doesn't see it. They're being told.
No, they don't.
They're being told it's all for the greater good. That should be clue number one. Anytime they say, "Oh, it's for the greater good," it eliminates the individual.
That's right.
And
it's just like these bills they're putting out, trying to claim it equal rights, it's equality. It's gonna, do all this and that. I caught Shelley Pingree lying right through her teeth in an email about HR 1, trying to defend it, saying that, if we had voter ID, that would deter voters from voting. Well, yeah, it would deter the cheating voters from voting.
Yep.
And there's other stuff too, but I just couldn't believe it.
I know it.
And it's sad that people are actually believing their lies.
Oh, and sadly, about half the people believe their lies, and they've hated Donald Trump. They used Donald Trump as a symbol of hatred. And so they have turned America, they've turned us all against each other. They are the left, the white people, the white woke people on the left are turning races against each other. Are you racist? I'm not.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's an ideology, John.
It is.
That's all it is.
It is.
just an ideology. And when you take that out of the equation, or out of the conversation, you get back to being human.
Right.
You get back to having a common sense conversation. The ideology is what's ruining everything in this country. It's disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got to end. I mean, we all need to come together, Republicans, Democrats, just people. We all need to come together for the greater good and defeat the evil that has clouded this country.
Right. And the greater good being the freedom of all of us. And I will say this. I heard this morning, and I can't remember. I think it was maybe Glenn Beck or somebody said it, that the people, the leftists who are your, quote, enemies right now could end up being your allies, because all of the stuff that they are supporting right now, they don't understand it, but they don't want it either. They just don't know what they're jonesing for by aligning with the people they are. They're going to be on our side when all hell breaks loose, but it might be too late by then. So,
amen, John. I'm glad whoever said it, because that's the truth.
It absolutely is.
These policies aren't just going to affect, conservatives or whatever have you.
Right.
They're going to affect everybody.
Yep.
Regardless of what party you're in. I mean, I can't even stand the parties right now. I mean, it's part of the problem.
It is.
It's the system we have set up already, and we need to continue to use it, but we need to clean it up, and we need to get the voting system cleaned up before we can even think about going to the polls.
Absolutely. And now the swamp that was somewhat drained, not nearly enough, is now filling up again. So.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, we can still fight. There's a lot of things that we, the people, can do.
Amen.
It doesn't have to be an armed insurrection either. There's plenty of things that you can do.
Right.
Plenty of things. You can volunteer with your local PAC. I mean, find an organization that's near and dear to your heart, that has your focuses in mind, and join up. Volunteer. Help defend our rights and freedoms before they're gone.
Yeah, and when you said your PAC, and I don't know if you were talking about Political Action Committee.
Free Maine PAC, yeah, I'm part of the Free Maine PAC.
Okay. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say we have a petition right now circulating that limits Janet Mills' powers, and if we were to ever have an emergency again, God forbid, it would force the legislature to vote before emergency orders or whatever can be mandated, like it was this last time.
Yep.
So I'll have that Saturday.
Good.
Table set up. You can come over, please sign.
Absolutely.
That and help us get that into law. Our deadline, I think, is November or December 2022.
Yep.
I'm not sure, but I mean, there's tons of these popping up. There's also Make Americans Free Again.
Yeah. And
they currently have a lawsuit against Janet.
Yeah, we
administration right now.
We talked with the lead lawyer on the show, Thomas Renz, last week, and there's another guy in Maine, and they just filed that last week, and that's fantastic, and that's the kind of grassroots stuff we need. And
absolutely, and you said it right there. It's 100% grassroots, and grassroots is gonna be what fixes this country.
Amen.
It's not going to be the Republican Party or the Democrat Party. It's going to be grassroots effort by we the people. And we need to all remember, these people work for us. We do not work for them.
They just need to understand that. We need to make them somehow understand it. Because
absolutely.
Right now they don't.
With rallies and petitions.
Yeah.
And call in your representatives and your senators and your governor and whoever else. Let it be known. We're not going to stand for this any longer. We're Americans. America stands for freedom, for the free speech, for all of that they're trying to tear down. They hate America for whatever reason. I can't imagine why anybody would hate America, but
because they don't know they don't know anything else. They don't know what they don't know what tyranny is like. So they hate where they're at, but they would hate where they went worse.
But ignoring the problem is never the solution.
No.
And I find a lot of people just turn their head.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the problem too.
Right. Yeah. I don't care about politics. I don't want to get involved.
Right.
Well, sorry. That ship has sailed.
It has sailed.
All hands on deck.
It really has sailed. And we got to get involved in your school boards.
There you go. See,
that's so important too, because these liberal teachers unions
Yeah.
are indoctrinating the crap out of our kids. They're
Right.
keeping the schools closed. I mean, I just saw a post talking about the cashiers and stuff working in like Hannaford's and just the clerks in Walmart or whatever. They're deemed essential.
Right.
And they got to work through the whole pandemic.
Absolutely.
But teachers are not essential.
Right. Exactly.
My God.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. The kids are more.
I mean,
the
come on.
kids,
Does that even make sense?
and they're not.
No.
They're getting their paychecks.
That's all they want, and that's boom, right there.
Right,
That's all they care about.
And I realize I don't want to demean all teachers here because there are some
me
great
neither.
teachers. But yeah, the union rules, and the unions right now are the problem in the teachers' unions.
Yep.
So
Yep. And I hate that all this has happened, but it had to happen for all of us to wake up. For all of us to see the corruption, and for all the lies to be exposed, and to show who people really are.
Right.
So we can get down to work and fix stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to work together.
Yeah.
We need to talk like this. We need to be genuine people. Need to reach out to the those who are moderates, those who are wondering, what's going on. I need some truth here, and that's what we can do. And when you said pack earlier, for some reason I started thinking Cub Scout pack, Boy Scout pack, Girl Scout pack, and I thought, what a great way, because kids are the most influential and malleable people we have. And if we live our lives in their, when they can see us living our lives in the way that we think life should be lived, in a good, wholesome, righteous way, and, with loving freedom, saluting the flag, telling them to stand up when they hear the national anthem and put their hand on their heart. If we can show that kind of respect to the kids, they're going to grow up knowing it. And so,
Absolutely. Amen to that, John.
Anything we get into like that with young kids, if you have a kid or a grandkid in the Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts, rather than drop them off and go away and enjoy your hour of peace and quiet at the pack meetings, go in and volunteer as a pack leader. I mean, that's...
Get involved.
Absolutely.
Get involved.
Amen.
I couldn't stress that anymore.
Now it's Saturday.
I mean, the days of dropping your kid off and letting somebody else do the work are over.
Right.
It's over. I mean, you left your kid with a possible... You know what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
It's not good. It's not good at all.
Could be a communist. You don't know. It's just a convenience. I'm going to draw you guys in Cub Scouts. I'll put his little neckerchief on, give him his hat, and I'll be back in an hour. And you're right. That's not good stuff. Now, the rally is on Saturday at the State House in Augusta. What time is it, Heather?
At noon.
Noontime.
12
Okay.
noon.
And
bring your friends, bring signs, bring your flags. If you're sick of this and you're done wearing a mask, you're done with all these COVID restrictions, that's the main goal of this rally. Is we demand that all these restrictions end. Excessive coronavirus restriction measures end immediately.
If you want to wear a mask, have at it.
If
you feel comfortable,
feel free to do that. I mean,
amen.
It's America.
Right.
You got a right to do whatever you want.
Amen. You can wear
it. Doesn't give you a right, though, to tell people not to do things because you don't like it.
Because you don't like it,
That don't give you a right to do that at all. And too many people think that they've got that right.
And and look how easy it was for them to lock us down. First for 2 weeks, and now for a year and 2 weeks we're at.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And no end in sight, at least in Maine and other parts of the country too. So it's noon on Saturday. It is called, what is it called again, Heather? And you outlined 5 points.
Worldwide Rally for Freedom.
Worldwide Rally for Freedom. And what were the 5 things that are going to be stood up for? Free speech, I know, is one of them.
Yes, we are taking a stand for 5 important freedoms. Freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom of choice, freedom of assembly, and freedom of health. The time for action is now.
Amen. Terrific. I hope I can be there. I don't know what I'm doing Saturday, but I thank you so much for your time, Heather.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I love this, John. You're doing an awesome job, and I want you to keep it up. And we need to keep spreading this good word.
Well, you're doing a lot more work than I am, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate your ambition. I appreciate your spirit, and keep fighting the good fight, Heather. We'll stay in touch. And
thank you, John.
Stick around. We're going to be talking about the freedom that Florida is seeing and the effects it's having. It's pretty mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. Freedom lives in Florida.
Freedom! Amen! Freedom, baby! Woo! Hey, you have a great day.
Right, John.
Have a great weekend, Heather. We'll talk to you later.
You too, hon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Heather Ann Sprague. She's awesome. Awesome. Great Americans. We're not looking for anything special. We're not looking for special treatment. We're not looking for entitlements. We aren't looking for any handouts. We just want to live our lives without the government in our way. That includes being told when and where we need to mask up, when we can go to church, how many people can be at our church service on Easter. Yeah, there are limits for that too. I have to make an appointment to go to church on Easter in America. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. Stick around. I'll be back. We've got a lot more to get to, including Florida. Florida's doing okay. We'll tell you about that straight ahead.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Decorate with items from Townline Antiques this spring to invigorate your home and your spirit. Do you love classic decor? You'll find enchanting artwork, glassware, signs, and hundreds more items around every corner. Or maybe you enjoy collecting books, comics, coins, sports memorabilia, watches, or classic electronics. Townland Antiques has cool, rare, and one-of-a-kind items that you won't find anywhere else. There are more booths and extra space, so come see what's new, like a huge selection of stuffed animals, including an abundance of bears and bunnies just in time for Easter. Or for anyone who loves to paint and refinish their items, they're now carrying high-quality fusion mineral paint that'll give you beautiful color and a durable, long-lasting finish. Have you been considering selling your items at Townline Antiques? There are now only 2 booth space left in this beautiful shop, so be sure to contact them as soon as possible. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassaboro Town Line.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Mostly cloudy for today with the chance for rain showers. Highs will be mid-40s to near 50 degrees. We'll see rain change into some snow for southern Maine and the coast overnight. Only light accumulations expected, if any. Clearing skies on Friday, but cool and windy with highs in the 30s. Sunny and nice this weekend. 40s to near 50 degrees. Saturday, 50s on Sunday.
1028 on Legacy 1160. Freedom's Pep Rally brought to you by the Gun Shop. I'm telling you, they're busy. They're busy in there. That's a great sign, isn't it? I got to tell you, they had more guns than Cabela's did. I love Cabela. Who doesn't love Cabela's? I love Cabela's. I'm not going to lie to you. You get everything at Cabela's. This is where I get my shirts. It's where I've gotten a lot of hats. That's where I've gotten several guns. That's where I bought a ton of beef jerky. That's where I bought my dehydrator. That's where I bought my first jerky supplies. That's where I bought a pair of sneakers that didn't fit me well, so I took them back and won't buy Cabela's sneakers again because of my feet. But everything else I love. I bought my Champion generator there, my Champion dual fuel generator. I love it. It's an inverter, actually. It's quiet, and it runs on propane or gas. I've never put gas in it. And it's a workhorse, buddy. Yes, sir. 10:29 right now. But Cabela's was there. They had nothing. They had nothing I was interested in. They had a couple of Kimbers, nice guns. I've got a Kimber. I don't need another Kimber. I wouldn't carry a Kimber because I love the 1911. For those, I'm sorry, this is gun geek stuff. I love. My favorite platform is the 1911 platform, but I would not carry one because I fear my own limitations. Anything that's cocked and locked, because I am of the belief if you're going to carry a gun, you need to be trained, and you always want to carry one in the pipe. You want one in the chamber. You don't want to have to pull it out and then rack the slide if you need to use it in a hurry. No, you want to be able to pull and, run and gun, as they say in the video industry. So, cocked and locked is, it probably isn't as scary as it seems to me. But again, I know my limitations. I would trust anybody who carries cocked and locked because obviously they know their limitations and they trust themselves. They're fine with it. But I'd be afraid of some, I'm fidgety. Okay, let me just say that. I'm fidgety. And, I fidget. I feel something on my hip and I fidget and I might accidentally do something stupid. Trust me, I'm trustworthy with a firearm. I just prefer not to carry a 1911. Although, again, my favorite platform. It's 10:30 now on Legacy 1160. We were talking with Heather Ann Sprague. By the way, Heather is awesome. A freedom lover. And an organizer of some great rallies. She didn't organize this, a worldwide rally. It's coming up on Saturday. It's at noon all over the world, but in Augusta, standing up for five rights: freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom of health, freedom of assembly, and freedom. I'm missing one. It's not an open carry. It's not an armed thing. Now, of course, if you're like me, a gun is like part of you. I mean, when you go out, it's like putting your wallet in your pocket, like putting your cell phone in your pocket, and you put your gun at your side or in your holster in your pants or wherever you pocket. They have pocket guns that are pretty cool. I've got one of those actually, but I don't use it much. So, but you don't go out of your way. People coming with rifles and stuff. No. Showing that to me, that's, I don't know what you would call it. It's like bragging. Hey, look at me. Look at me here. I've got a rifle. No. You carry concealed carry. In fact, I don't know. Maybe it's against the law on state grounds. I'm not encouraging anything. I'm just telling you what it's not. It's not to show that you can carry a gun in public. That's not what it's for. But it is to defend freedom. And I love that it's going on around the world, that other countries want to defend their freedom. In some countries, they would not be allowed and will not be allowed to do this. In America, we are. We are. We can. We do because we can. And that's pretty awesome. That alone tells you what we have here is precious. Under the lockdowns, under the strict lockdowns in some areas, this is what communism looks like. In some place, like California, it would be illegal to go out and stand for freedom because there is no freedom. It's an arrestable offense. In our country, freedom in some areas, New York City, in San Francisco, California, all over California, a gathering of Americans To stand up for freedom would be against the so-called law, although the law of the land is the Constitution. And by law, anybody anywhere in this country has a right to go out and stand up for freedom. But there are willing participants on the left who will tell the police to comply at the risk of losing their jobs and arrest these people, and they will get arrested. Would it be worth it? Yeah, hell yeah. I would join a stand for freedom in California at the risk of getting arrested. You bet I would. But most people probably wouldn't. But for one thing, my job allows me to do stuff like that. I could get arrested. What are they going to do? Wow, you got arrested for standing up with freedom. You got arrested for standing up with conservatives. You're fired. No, I don't think so. I mean, this is my job, right? But, somebody who's working down at a local drugstore who's out there protesting for freedom and his boss is a left-wing nut job, well, that's sort of putting your paycheck in your hands. I understand that. It's 10:35. Freedom lives in Florida. And things aren't going too badly in Florida right now. State Representative Shelley Rudnicki last night was on Facebook, and she was talking about this rally that's going on Saturday. She was also talking about the COVID-19 vaccinations. I appreciate her going on and talking to people. Governor Mills won't do that. She won't go on a Facebook page and just talk to people. Or if she does, it's more of a speech. Shelley just comes on and she talks with you. Hey, this is what's going on. You send something to her and she'll read it. She'll respond to it. Janet Mills talks at you. Shelley Rudnicki talks with you. Do you see the difference there? See the difference in tax? One wants to have a conversation. One just wants to be heard. So what's happening in Florida? Well, California and Florida, I'm going to juxtapose the two here. As many parts of the country, and this piece, by the way, was written by CNN's Jeff Zellini. I'm going to read you a piece from this article. As many parts of the country embark on an uneasy march toward normalcy, Florida is not only back in business, it's been in business for the better part of the past year. DeSantis' gamble to take a laissez-faire approach appears to be paying off, at least politically, at least for now, as other governors capturing attention in the opening phase of the pandemic now face steeper challenges. It goes on, despite far fewer rules and restrictions, Florida lands nearly in the middle of all states on a variety of coronavirus metrics. The state has had about 3% more COVID-19 cases per capita than the U.S. overall, about 8% fewer deaths per capita. So more people have gotten sick, less people have died in Florida, which has been largely open. So CNN Politics, that is the name of a Twitter feed. CNN Politics tweeted out two different things at two different times. And both of them were put side by side by a guy by the name of Drew Holden, who captioned the two tweets with, "Better luck next time, CNN Politics." The early CNN Politics tweet said, "Putting politics in front of lives. Governor Ron DeSantis faces criticism on Florida's COVID-19 response." Fast forward. The second tweet, also from CNN Politics. "A year into the pandemic, Florida is booming, and Republican Governor Ron DeSantis is taking credit." He should be. If you look at what's happening in South Florida right now, I mean, this place is booming. It would not be booming if it was shut down, said DeSantis last month as tourist season came in. Los Angeles isn't booming. New York City isn't booming. It's booming here because we can live like a human being. In other words, we can live in freedom, and we can trust our people with precious freedom. Ron DeSantis in Florida. Thank you for your service, Ron DeSantis, and God bless you. God bless Florida. God bless the states in America that have allowed the freedom to ring. Like Texas, like Mississippi, like South Dakota, where the economies have barely noticed a difference. And again, per capita, the death rate in Florida, which is very populated with a lot of people from Maine. A lot of people from Maine are in Florida. In fact, I've got a listener that lives in Palermo who I think has been listening from Florida when he listens. He's probably still in Florida. I forget, Zephyr Hills or something, maybe, I don't know. And will they want to come back to this? They don't have to wear a mask. They don't have to be locked down. They're older people. They're retired. Well, Paul isn't. Paul's not retired. Paul's going to work until he's 120. My buddy Paul Cupcake Cowing. They aren't afraid. You can't stop your life because you're afraid. Nor should the government stop your life because they're afraid for you. You know how to live. You've done the freedom thing all your life. You've used common sense to get through life since you were little. You've learned lessons along the way. You understand cause and effect. You don't need to be told like a parent tells a child, you wear a mask, young man. You don't need that. How dare Governor Mills be the parent of every upwardly mobile, commonsensical adult in Maine? How dare she do that? Power. She's been given the power, not by the legislature, but by her own will. I'm the governor, damn it. I can do what I want to. Even Donald Trump wasn't that foolish. Oh, that didn't sound right. Donald Trump left it up to the states. You would think maybe if Governor Mills had any care for freedom, any care for individuality at all, Governor Mills would have at least said, we are going to leave it up to the counties to decide. Maybe York County and Cumberland County ought to have a few more restrictions, maybe, but you decide. You decide. We trust you to decide. Aroostook County, Piscataquis County, maybe you won't need as much. Maybe there's, in some parts of Aroostook County, there's 30 miles between people. Maybe you don't need to be quite as closed down there. But no, she doesn't trust anybody with the decisions except herself and probably her Democratic leftist minions in the Maine legislature. Troy Jackson and the rest of them. I don't know who all is in there now. Cottonwar, the House Speaker, Jackson, the Senate President. Leaders, not. They are freedom usurpers. They are on board with shutting us down, closing us off, telling us not to go to church, telling us we have to wear masks wherever we go, telling us we can't go to school. If there's one case discovered, we have to shut down the school and go to distance learning for 1 week, 2 weeks, whatever I say. This is the beginning of the end if we let it continue. This is the beginning of the end. Is that right, Corey? Okay, I will check that link out. Disgusting. Corey says, disgusting. Joe Biden makes anti-American joke, says his ancestors should have stayed put. Well, if his ancestors aren't from America, Corey, I think you'll agree with me when I say that his ancestors should have stayed put. God knows what we'd have now, though. 1044 on Legacy 1160. More Florida news. I love this. We need more Ron DeSantis. Okay? We need more Ron DeSantis. We need more Greg Abbott. We need more Kristi Noem. We need more governors like this. Leaders. The Democratic governors don't deserve to be leading a state in a free country. They don't deserve to be leading a state in a country that has a constitution that guarantees our freedom, that guarantees our inalienable rights, because they have taken it and they've turned it on its head, and they have taken our inalienable rights and they have thrown them under the bus for their own power needs. Because they don't trust us, or because they're looking for power, or both. Does Governor Mills even know why she is mandating the lockdowns? Does she have any idea that it's because the federal government wants more power? She either does or she doesn't. She either thinks she's doing it for the greater good and building windmills and solar panels for the greater good. She either thinks that in her mind, which shows how weak she is, or she knows she is doing it for the federal government's democratic stronghold and power grab, in which case she is crazy like a fox. She's either really dumb or she's really conniving and smart. I don't know which. And by the way, the fact that she's an attorney, the fact that she is book smart does not make her smart. Does not make her smart in the ways of America. She could be an idiot when it comes to the Constitution. I dare say she is. She is an idiot when it comes to allowing us to have our rights. If she knew what the Constitution said and she believed it, she'd say, I'm going to leave it up to you. I trust you. I trust you, fellow Mainers. I'm going to leave it up to you. Go out and move about the world. If you think it's safe to wear a mask, by all means, wear a mask. Try to social distance. By the way, 3 feet is enough social distance. This was just revealed. Just revealed. How can you say science is settled when they just reveal? Revelations come out all the time. Oh, it turns out that 1 mask doesn't work. We need 3. Oh, wait a minute. Masks don't work at all. Nobody should have to wear a mask. Oh, we don't need 6 feet. 3 feet is all we need. Oh, the virus lives on surfaces. Oh, wait a minute. It doesn't live that long on surfaces. The science is never settled. Never. Chuck Todd, I almost said a word. Wow, that would have been funny for a minute until the FCC came down. Chuck Todd, I want to call him so many names. The science is settled on global warming, so you will never get a fair report on anything from Chuck Todd on NBC. Don't even listen to Chuck Todd. Never listen to Chuck Todd, because Chuck Todd is an idiot. Chuck Todd is a moron. Chuck Todd doesn't deserve to have his little squishy rabbit face twitching around on NBC, Meet the Press, or on MSNBC, because he is an idiot. The science is settled on global warming. We will not have any guests who deny. So much for a fair and objective news show, huh, Chuck? That's fair journalism, you dork. Stick your head back in the sand and go do something you're better equipped to do. Go be a counter boy at Wendy's or something. You know, you've got your twitching face might be welcome there in the window as you hand out bags to your drive-through customers. But stay off the TV because you're stupid. You're dumb. Well, I don't believe you should be eating fried foods, so I'm not going to give it to you. I'm only going to give you this grilled burger that I cooked up myself at home. Here, thank you for shopping at Wendy's. That's Chuck Todd. That's Chuck Todd. Chuck Todd, the denier of editorial opinions on MSNBC.
And just a reminder, for what it's worth, there is no editorial point of view here on any of these newscasts on MSNBC in the daytime.
He's a liar. He's a liar. Don't watch Chuck Todd. Don't watch Chuck Todd. Chuck Todd doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a leftist. He's a hack. He's a propagandist. He's a communist, a socialist. He's a Democrat, and he doesn't hide it. And those are his good points. Oh, yeah, so Florida. What else is Ron DeSantis doing? I want you to hear this now. We know who the real racists are in this country. And if you're a far leftist, hey, Dottie, how are ya? Good to see ya. Well, I haven't seen you for a while. Thank you, Heather. So, we know who the real racists are. It is the progressives, the racists. It is the lily white boys, the lily white crybaby snowflake boys who say, check your privilege at the door. The ones who say, you're a part of the systemic racist problem. There's a little white boys with their attitudes and their holier than thou way. Oh, you're a racist. White people are racist. Lose your worship of whiteness, Raphael Warnock of Georgia said. The communist who was just elected to the Senate thanks to communist Stacey Abrams whining and crying and manipulating votes. Who Tiffany Cross on MSNBC wants to have the FBI building named after Stacey Abrams. Oh, she's awesome. She is? To who? To you? To you, MSNBC, she's awesome. To you and Joy Reid, maybe Tiffany. But to the rest of us, she makes us want to puke. Sorry, that's just how it is. So Ron DeSantis, there's a reason so many people are moving to Florida from California, from New York, from other places. Beautiful weather, great economy, low taxes, and freedom. Now, why is that? Well, it's a reason progressives cannot figure out because it involves, here's that word again, critical thinking. It's because the governor is not a tyrant. He isn't controlled by the mob. Of course, progressives moving there will want to change it into a liberal haven for no particular reason, but that's just how they roll. They know something good when they see it, but they don't know why it's good. So they change it into a progressive haven, and then they can't figure out why all of a sudden it's bad. They are very self-destructive and ignorant people. So Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor, doesn't want to waste kids' time in school with nonsense. So yesterday, God love him. To quote Joe Biden, God love you. Yesterday, Ron DeSantis denounced critical race theory at a press conference, vowing to expressly exclude it from the state's public schools. Amen. Listen and hear a real leader who trusts his citizens with freedom, something you are not apt to hear for quite some time. Here in Maine, Ron DeSantis.
The number of debate clubs in Florida has nearly doubled, and this proposal will continue to engage Florida teachers and students in civics programs both inside and outside of the classroom. We also want to be able to support our teachers by making investments in our civics curriculum. Included in the proposal, $17 million to bolster Florida civics curriculum and to expedite the implementation of Florida's best standards, which is what we did to repeal and replace Common Core. A high-quality education begins with a high-quality curriculum, which is why we're going to be laser focused on developing the best possible civics instruction standards. Florida civics curriculum will incorporate foundational concepts with the best materials, and it will expressly exclude unsanctioned narratives like critical race theory and other unsubstantiated theories. Let me be clear, there's no room in our classrooms for things like critical race theory. Teaching kids to hate their country and to hate each other is not worth 1 red cent of taxpayer money.
Amen. Amen. What do you think critical race theory does? It's to divide us. It is for the left to divide us. The leftists don't even know that. They just echo it. They echo it thinking, oh, it's righteous. Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi say critical race theory. Sheila Jackson Lee, the woman who thinks that an AR-15 shoots a 50 caliber bullet. The woman that thinks an AR-15 is heavier than 10 boxes you might be carrying around. The woman who is trying to cause every gun owner in America to lose their Second Amendment rights. That Sheila Jackson Lee says we need critical race theory taught in schools to further divide our country so the Democratic left can rule forever and ever and ever, and they will be the serfs, and we will control the world. This is what they want, and this is what your friends on the left believe. They don't know the end game. We do. I've told you the end game. You see the end game. They don't. They are ignorant children. Their parents are on CNN, MSNBC, in Congress, telling them what to think, how to think, and why to think it. And they believe it. And they follow along, and they will fight you tooth and nail on Facebook and Twitter, telling you why you're wrong and why you are such a racist and why you are pro-systemic racism and why you should check your white privilege and you should... And they won't stop. We do need to be like Florida, Heather. So, I want you to stick around because coming up after the top of the hour, I have got something so good from the media, and you can probably guess. I said probably. I would have been corrected for that at home. You can probably guess, and you would be right. It is not from the American media. No, we have to go overseas when we want to hear truth. And we will. Sky News is awesome. And you've got to hear this. You really do. Because the race baiters, the racists, those who are pushing for critical race theory, those who are pushing for social justice, it's all a ruse. Don't take your eyes off the prize. The prize is freedom. And we've got to stand strong. And you bear with me here for a second. I seem to have lost something I was trying to find. Bear with me for just a moment. No, I tell you what, I'm going to take a break here. We've got some commercials. We'll be back after. Paul, Peggy, I knew it. Are you in Florida? I don't know if you're still in Florida. Thank you for being there. Amen. It's 10:58. Back with more. I'm John James.
AM 1160 WSKW.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
You can add both warmth and beauty to your home with a Ravelli pellet stove from Somerset Stone & Stove in Oakland. Each Ravelli stove combines modern heating technology with the elegant style of traditional stoves. They've been expertly designed in Italy with quality in mind and are certified to the strictest quality standards to guarantee maximum reliability and safety. Pellet stoves don't have to be loud or ugly. Stop in today to see the Ravelli pellet stove size and style options for yourself at Somerset Stone & Stove, 1078 Kennedy Memorial Drive in Oakland. Online at somersetstoneandstove.com.
I know you've heard the old adage, buy low and then sell high. Well, with real estate prices rising in the market every day, if you've been thinking of selling your home, now is the time to list your property with Pouliot Real Estate to capitalize on it. While the market may be growing, Matt and the team at Pouliot Real Estate are never too busy to help. In fact, before you go and pay for an appraisal to find the value of your home, Pouliot Real Estate will happily give you an estimate for free. Yeah, I said free. Low interest rates have created an active buying market, which is great for sellers. And there are lots of people selling their homes for a number of reasons. They're empty nesters looking to cash in on the equity that they've built, folks looking to downsize their home to increase their cash, and growing families that simply need something bigger. There's absolutely no obligation, so why not strike while the iron is hot? Contact Pouliot Real Estate for a free home valuation at PouliotRealEstate.com. That's PouliotRealEstate.com. And when you see Matt Pouliot, you tell him Mike Violette sent you.
It's a new year. Aren't you tired of walking over the same beaten up old flooring? It's time you installed a new floor that offers premium durability by contacting HT Winters about their line of Tarkett Pro Gen tile and wood flooring. Tarkett is designed to stand strong in all seasons against water, dirt, and sunlight. The best way to improve your home this winter is to install Tarkett Pro Gen tile and wood flooring. HT Winters, 43 Bay Street in Winslow, and online at htwintersflooring.com.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Jim Ryan. There were hopes weekly unemployment numbers would show improvement, but instead an increase. 770,000 claims were filed in the past week. That's one sign of the arduous recovery from the pandemic. Another is the reason the IRS is pushing back the federal tax deadline to May 17th. ABC's Rachel Scott has more from Capitol Hill.
We are also learning that the IRS is still playing catch up. Sources tell me they are still waiting to process 24 million tax returns since the 2019 tax year.
President Biden will discuss the nation's coronavirus vaccine progress today. There'll be a hearing on Capitol Hill on discrimination and violence against Asians as the investigation continues into the shooting spree at 3 spas in the Atlanta area. 8 people were killed. 6 of them are of Asian descent. Severe weather that's responsible for about 24 reported tornadoes overnight is moving east, threatening the Carolinas. There were no major injuries reported overnight. This is ABC News. An Indianapolis man is now formally charged with murder in the killings of 4 people, including a child, in what investigators say was a fight over COVID relief money. 25-year-old Malik Halfacre is accused of shooting several people after he demanded part of his girlfriend's stimulus payment. His girlfriend is critically injured. Russia already has recalled its ambassador to the U.S. in an interview with ABC News about Vladimir Putin. Now, says ABC's Patrick Reevell,
Vladimir Putin has responded to President Biden calling him a killer. Putin's response on state television, he quoted the phrase in Russian, "I know you are, but what am I?" Biden's comments, made in an interview with ABC's George Stephanopoulos, have triggered a furious reaction from Russia's government. It's recalled its ambassador from the US for consultations over the remarks. Asked by Stephanopoulos if he thought the Russian president is a killer, Biden said, "I do." Patrick Reevell, ABC News, at the Foreign Desk.
And I'm Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Switch to T-Mobile for Business and get up to 90 days of service free via virtual rebate on your business plan. You get a great deal, the largest 5G network, and first-class benefits like Microsoft 365 on us. It's better for business and only with T-Mobile for Business. Limited time offer. Stop in store for details. Plus taxes and fees for some plans. Virtual Express MasterCard within 8 weeks of receipt of valid submission. Complete port within 60 days. See T-Mobile.com for 5G devices, coverage, and plan details.
As a dentist, I know what my patients are saying during times when they really can't speak.
Mm-hmm.
She says her gums are irritated.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you can do? Absolutely. You can try New Crest Advanced Gum Restore.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, New Crest Advanced Gum Restore. It detoxifies below the gum line to restore your gums back to health in just 7 days.
Oh,
Exactly. Healthy gums, healthy mouth.
New Crest Advanced Gum Restore. Healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
He's not the best looking, best dressed, or most charming person you'll ever meet, but he is the friendliest man in America. The one and only John James on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
I gotta drink a lot of water today. Tomorrow's the procedure. The worst part about it is not eating for a day. But I'll tell you, I tell you what, it really makes you think when you have to, whether it's blood work or a procedure or whatever, these medical tests, you have to fast, you have to go on a, all liquid or, some kind of diet like that. For me, it's 24 hours. But, and that's hard to bear. And I'm sure I'll get a headache. And it really makes you appreciate food, and how blessed we are, most of us, to have easy access to food and enough money to buy the food we need, hopefully. Some can't. And, that's very sad. I mean, obviously that's why there are food banks. There are people there to help. But, I don't know. I just, at a time like this, I think, how petty do I sound? Oh, wah, wah, wah. You can't eat for 24 hours. Get over it. There are kids dying of hunger. There are people dying. I know. And that's my point. It makes me real, and I don't mean to get all, touchy-feely here, but it does make you think. You have to go 24 hours without food. Think of the kids who literally are food insecure and the people who can't afford, maybe kids, and this is more common now than the parents are all drugged out and the kids don't get to eat. The money is spent on drugs or, it makes me think. I know that's it's really going off on a tangent, but it hurts my heart to think of, especially hungry children. Adults we can usually find a way to get by if we have to, because like I say, there's help, there's food banks, there's, thank God for people who are willing to give. The Salvation Army's there, the Augusta Food Bank, the food pantries all over. But the kids who really, their parents control their destiny. I mean, their parents are their providers. And if they can't provide, or worse, don't, for whatever the reason, that's a very sad thing. Again, thank God for schools that have opened up, many of them, during the lockdowns just to feed kids or drop food off at their homes. Yeah, I thinking about it. Because I was thinking about how petty I sound. And, I'm just playing a lot of it up as jokingly. I'm not serious. I'm going to get by. I mean, it's, 24 hours. The procedure is what I should be more worried about, but I'm not. I'm more worried about not eating. That's the truth. But it's so petty of me to even say that, knowing there are some people maybe who are literally they are going hungry. Kids are going hungry. It's just something makes me think, because I realize sometimes we take things for granted, and of course, I mean, we're blessed. Why wouldn't we? It's human nature. It's something we all do. We take something we know is always going to be there, and we take it for granted. It's just normal. How often do you take your spouse for granted? I love my wife, and I love my kids, and they're always there. I'm going to get out of work. I'm going to call my wife, and she's going to pick up the phone, say hello. She's going to say hello. I'm going to call my son. Is going to say shoot. But what happens on that day when they don't? I think about this a lot, but I think we should. I really do. And this, I'm not trying to be preachy here, but I think it's going to keep us grounded if we think about what we take for granted. And we know it's not hard to see what we take for granted. We can understand it just by knowing what we expect to always be there. We expect our house to always be there when we get home. We expect our lawnmower to start up and we can mow the lawn anytime. We expect certain things until it's gone. The lawnmower doesn't start. The house burned down. We lost somebody. I thought about that a lot after my dad died, because I would start to call him just to say hi, just to say, how you doing, Dad? Because he wasn't doing well, and I knew that. So I'd call him often. And I'd start to call him, and I'd stop, and I would literally cry. I think, what am I even doing? He's not going to answer the phone. Ever. I don't know, just a little too deep. I know. But, there's something where we can left, right. We can all, there's something we really can all agree on. We take things for granted. And someday the things we take for granted, we are going to wish were there for us to take for granted again. So anyway, that a little bit of a downer, but I just wanted, sometimes I get all wishy-washy, or not wishy-washy. No, that's Joe Biden. I get all touchy-feely, and I just have to share. All right, onward and upward here. We've got 11:11. I promised you a piece from Sky News, and this is a great piece that I've got for you right here, because there's so much, again, left and right. We need to hear it. We who agree with it need to hear it, because it sort of justifies our thinking. It's like, yeah, we aren't off. We are right on what we see happening and how we feel it's affecting us and our society. But the left needs to hear it, because they need to know the truth about what's going on. And one day, hopefully, one of these things that we share or that somebody else shares is going to light something up in a person who's maybe on the fence or a little more to the left, and they'll say, huh, and they'll think about what they're being told and compare it to what they just heard. And they will see that what they just heard has a lot of truth to it. And this is one of those things. So who is stoking the race narrative and why? Now, I'm not going to be angry here. I'm just matter of fact. But I'm going to say what needs to be said. The left needs to open their eyes. White virtue signaling Marxists need to stop convincing minorities that they are victims. Better yet, minorities and the rest of us need to push back by rejecting those very racist claims. Now, the leftist people, the progressive people, our friends and neighbors, they're being used. They have no critical thinking, no compass, really. They're easily led. And it's a narrative that's literally destroying us from the inside out. I mean, don't worry, we're worried about the borders. Yeah, we should be. But we're being destroyed from the inside. So we've got it coming from both ends. We've got it coming from outside our borders and from within our borders. As America is destroying, it's like a metastatic cancer, this racism being promulgated by the left. It really is. I can't think of a better way to put it. Now, the latest racist narrative is that Asian people are being targeted because people are blaming them for COVID-19. And the narrative also includes that it's all because of Donald Trump calling it the Wuhan flu. Now, do leftists really buy that Americans are that shallow? That we're that stupid? Granted, some are. Not going to deny it. You can't fix that. But hundreds of millions of people can't walk on eggshells forever because of a few idiots. We need to address problems as they occur. We don't fix it by throwing the baby out with the bathwater. There is no systemic racism in America. Yes, in certain pockets, there is systemic racism. Can't deny it. There are a lot of systems in this country. Some are very racist. Systemic racism, though, is a buzzword. Nobody can tell you what system has racism throughout it. Certainly not a majority of the American people. Still, it's the left that wants you to believe that all white people are racist. We're not. And not all minorities aren't racist. In other words, there is non-systemic racism everywhere. And it comes from all races of people. Those people need to change or check out of the conversation. I think that would eliminate a lot of people who identify as far-left liberals. I see way too many white people telling me to check my privilege. Why? Why is another white person telling me to check my white privilege? First of all, what privilege? I'm going to have a colonoscopy tomorrow, and it's going to be just as uncomfortable and just as horrible as it will be for any other race. We're all people. Who sees color besides the left? They keep bringing it up. We don't. What have I ever done in life that makes me a racist? Don't tell me I just don't realize that I'm racist. That it's the way I was born. I was brought up to respect people, and I do. Don't judge me or my friends by your prejudices, which are misguided and unfounded. Instead, look at yourself. Perhaps by putting people of color in a different category. It's you that is racist. They aren't a category. Black people, Asian people, they aren't a category. They're just Americans. They're just people too. Stop dividing us with your critical race theory and your white privilege and your systemic racism. Stop it. It's a lie. It's to divide, and you know it. people who are doing it, not the Kool-Aid drinkers. They're merely the echo chamber. They need to learn. They need to learn these hard truths that you have indoctrinated them with. Now, this is a great piece by Sky News, because when we want real news, we have to leave out the propagandists and go overseas. Now, this is brilliant and helpful. And it's also, unlike U.S. media, it is spot on. Listen.
And to culture wars, I'm so old that I was inspired to fight racism by the speech that Martin Luther King gave. Didn't see it at the time. I studied it at school a decade later. It still gives me goosebumps every time.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Now, I still think that is the ultimate expression of true anti-racism. But today, Martin Luther King would be treated like some right-wing racist saying that. Sometimes like I am. Because the anti-racists today want to bring back the racial division that he fought, and even the segregation he fought.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood.
That, sitting down together, is exactly not what the modern anti-racist wants. Not in the US, for instance, where Columbia University, one of the most famous universities there, is planning to hold 6 additional graduation ceremonies, apart from the normal one, for students according to their race and other aspects of how they identify, gender, sexual inclination, whatever. But race. And the same poison's here too. Queensland University even banned white students from its Aborigines-only computer lab. Joining me on Culture Wars is Rowan Dean, author, editor of The Spectator Australia, and host of Outsiders on Sky News every Sunday at 9 a.m. Rowan Dean, lovely to speak to you, but honestly, today's Martin Luther King. How would his speech go today, do you think? Now, I have a dream where one day my 4 daughters will be judged by the colour of their skin, and we'll have a blacks-owned graduation ceremony at a university with a blacks-only computer lab.
Yeah, exactly. Martin Luther King would be horrified by the America of today, not only because he fought against the very things that are happening, but because he literally did dream of an America in which racial differences, sexual differences, tribal differences of any sort were literally invisible, had all disappeared, whereas a brotherhood of man and a lot of the idealism of the 60s, through the songs, and you remember Coca-Cola ad where everybody of different race is standing around sharing the one drink. Nowadays, ads are all about division. They're all about, even Coke, every ad is for a different person or a different subset. So we've gone from this idea of a brotherhood of man, which was a idealistic dream, but Martin Luther King was very specific in how to achieve that dream, and that was by focusing on character. Character must trump everything, he said. Character is ahead of any other definition. So judge every individual by their moral character, their merit as a person who strives to do good in the world. So this idea now that merit, and even as you mentioned, the university there, and it's not just that university, there are others who are doing similar things, are saying, no, your real achievement in coming to university is not whatever grades and whatever course you may have studied. And let's face it, most of those are pretty worthless these days, but which tribe you fitted into and which identity group you are now a party to. And we will celebrate that as being your great achievement. Now, this is the crudest, most basic form of Marxism, dividing people into different groups so you can control them and rule over them, divide and conquer.
There
it's
it
the
is.
oldest idea in political, in tyranny, basically.
There it is. It's right there. If you're a critical race theory supporter, a supporter of the anti-racist movement, or just someone who assumes they're white, so they must be racist, know that you are not a critical thinker. You're nothing but a tool of the Marxist movement in America. And if you don't wake up soon, by the time you do, it's going to be too late. And you will be sorry you didn't see it coming, even though you're being told. Even though we are witnessing for you and telling you what it is. So many people are just not wanting to hear it because they're angry. They're angry at anybody who doesn't toe their line. Donald Trump proved it. Nobody liked Donald Trump because he didn't toe the political line. The only way this country is going to change if we have critical thinking individuals who aren't afraid to stand up for what they believe. Now, if a majority of people, if 60% of the people in the country believed that socialism was the way to go, believe me, I would still fight it, but I would be outnumbered. I don't believe that's the case. Far from it. But I think there are so many people who have been misled that they think the way we're going is the right way. We need to teach them that it's not, because I think it's more likely that 80 to 90% want freedom of expression. And that brings me back to the Freedom Rally going on Saturday in Augusta at the State House, noontime. Be there if you can. We all want freedom. But you can't have everything. And I think that's a lot of times what the left wants. They want everything. They want freedom, but they want government control too. Well, okay, pick one. Pick one. You can't have both. You cannot have a constitutional society, a democratic republic, with government control. You can't. So if you really want to be free, you say, oh, freedom. People, the left is famous for saying, oh, we want freedom. We want freedom. That's what we want, a free America. They'll say it just as we do. And they are as devout in their belief that freedom is what we need. But you know, freedom means if you really want freedom, there are certain things you have to understand that you're going to have to live with. You can't have the freedom America offers and take away the Second Amendment and outlaw certain types of guns you don't think belong in our society. You can't do it. You want freedom? Okay, get over that. Forget that. That's off the table. You can't have freedom and at the same time have government control our speech. Oh, well, that's hate speech. You can't say that. You're going to jail. You're getting a fine. You can't have it. Do you want freedom or do you not want freedom? I mean, it's one or the other. Crap or get off the pot. Freedom means you live with the things you like about freedom and the things that maybe you don't like about freedom. It's a give and take, right? You know, I don't like some of the things people are constitutionally allowed to say to me or about my family. But they have the right to say it. If somebody says something about my kids or my wife, I may, draw off and infringe on their right by smacking them in the nose. But you see what I'm saying? You have to live with the good and the bad. You can't have it all. You can't have free health care. You can't have free housing. This is all stuff the government wants to give you because it gives them power. But you can't have that and be free. Because the more they give, the more they are at the same time taking. They're giving you stuff. They're taking your freedom. And this is what people can't see. This is what they need to understand. I've got another great audio here. from a young woman, a 20-year-old girl. So how much of the oppression in minority communities in the U.S. is necessary because there is no way out? And how much is because the left keeps discouraging these communities by saying, in essence, you can't make it on your own. We're sorry. Elect us and we'll help. And they never do. And they keep getting elected over and over and over and over again. Look at, for example, how well Florida is doing. Florida is a very diverse state. Very diverse. I mean, you have a lot of Asians. You have a lot of Hispanics. You have a lot of black people. You have a lot of white Anglo-Saxon, I guess. Is that what we call us? I don't even know. I mean, it's a wide variety of people of all different walks of life. They're wide open. Ron DeSantis said, to hell with the mandates. Let freedom ring. They've got, on average, 3% more coronavirus, 8% less deaths per capita because he trusts his people. Where is all of the oppression during coronavirus? Oppression being you are kept down. Well, let's look. Ted Wheeler's Portland, Oregon. Gavin Newsom's California. Andrew Cuomo and Bill de Blasio's New York. Janet Mills, Maine. And where are people thriving? Kristi Noem's South Dakota. Greg Abbott's Texas. I mean, come on. Open your eyes. Who is the oppressor? I mean, this is a great time to decide who is the oppressor and who is the oppressee. The oppressee in the Democratic-run states and cities are the citizens, and the oppressor is the government. Same goes with this racism crap. The people oppressing the minorities are the leftists. There's no difference. Cause and effect. Look at it. Study it. I have. A lot of anecdotes out there. Progressivism is a brainwashing by an organized mob. And once people see the lies and engage in their own critical thinking, great things happen to individuals. They awaken and they see the truth as they shed the lies they've been told. Now, this young woman's name is Amala Ekpunobi, and I'm probably mispronouncing her name. She grew up in a leftist home. She worked as an organizer for the political left. She never questioned the narrative. See, there's where she's smarter than most progressives who never change. She questioned the narrative. She discovered the racism she thought she was fighting against. Listen to this. This is a young black woman, leftist. She discovered the racism she thought she was fighting against was being perpetuated by her side. She said, quote, "We are bringing back segregation in this country, and people will sell it to you that we are doing it in a positive manner. It perpetuates the same racist narrative that they are trying to run away from." And she shares her story of questioning leftist ideology, which ultimately led to her seeing the light. A light came on. Amala woke up, and her story has now changed to a much happier story because she questioned the ideology. Listen to this audio. It's from a video that was found at PragerU.
My name is Amala Evanoe, and this is my story. I'm 20 years old. I was born in Florida, and I'm a social media influencer and Prager Force member. So my father was a Nigerian immigrant. He moved to America. He met my mother. They fell in love and got married, and they had 3 children, me being the middle child. And he was in my life up until I was 6 years old. And then my parents got divorced. So I have very little memories of him as a child. And as they were divorced, I didn't see him very often, maybe every year or so. And now he bears very little influence in my life, which I know is common for most people in the Black community, unfortunately. So I sort of fall into that statistic, if you will. So my mom is a very strong-willed woman, a very opinionated woman. She happens to work for the left. She is a fundraiser, so she gets all the funding for the organization that she works for. As a child, my mom's beliefs were ingrained in me. She taught me leftist ideology and what she believed from a very young age, and I was always well aware of where she fell on the line and expected to believe the same. Not having my father in my life did have an impact on me, but I found father figures elsewhere. And 2 people who had a major influence on me were my grandparents. And they are this strong, beautiful, conservative couple that has been married for years and years. And they taught me how to be a lady. They taught me how to carry myself and be mature. And I find myself very lucky, actually, that even though my family does not agree with the values that I am putting out to the world, that my family accepts what I do and that they are proud of what I do, even though they disagree. When I was 17 and I graduated high school, I took up a job as a youth organizer at my mother's organization. And as I was working there, I remember in particular walking into the office and hearing these conversations, specifically in regards to white people. And it was blatantly racist. There is no way around it. There was no beating around the bush. They hated white people. And I sat down with the VP of the organization and I told him I was concerned. I'm half white. I grew up with my white family. Am I supposed to hate that half of myself? Am I supposed to hate my family? He essentially told me, you have to understand that people are angry and they're rightfully angry and they're going to say these things and maybe they don't fully mean it, but you have to sit down and you have to take it and you should be angry too. So that was a light bulb moment for me. And I went out to seek answers on my own since nobody wanted to answer them. I went online and I found an interview in particular of Thomas Sowell. And something that resonated with me is that he was a Marxist for most of his young life, just as I was. And that shared experience was a beautiful revelation to see. And now he is this beautiful mind who has intellect beyond what I will ever be capable of. So he is a major inspiration for me and a big part of why I'm a conservative today. So when I think about the Black community in America and how we are taught to be victims, it is devastating for me. And what happens is you are raised in a society in which really nobody is treating you differently, but you have the mindset that they are. And not only does it hold you back from creating your own success, but it holds you back from taking accountability. And you no longer are responsible for your actions because you have somebody to blame. And people perpetuate that and they tell you that's okay. And they say, yes, you are a victim. And then you go out with that mindset. And when success doesn't happen for you, you blame it on other people. And ultimately, I think that is the main problem with that narrative, is that there's no accountability in the Black community anymore. And people get very, very angry when you say things like that because they want their race to be seen. They think it's such a pivotal part of who they are as a person. And it's overtaking character. It's overtaking morals and values. It's overtaking where you even land politically. Your race is seen as this sort of pivotal structure to who you are when that should not be the case. We are bringing back segregation in this country, and people will sell it to you as if we're doing it in a positive manner, but it is segregation nonetheless, and that is never positive. So that's another narrative that the American people are being sold, that we need to uplift Black people, and in doing that, we need to keep them in their separate categories, and we need to give them their success. And it perpetuates the very same racist narrative that they are trying to run away from. Because if Black people can't do anything without your help and without the help of white liberals or white leftists, what are you saying about the Black community? You're saying that they're not capable of doing things without you. You're taking away their character. You're taking away their success and putting it under your name. I think that we can all find common ground in looking at the beautiful things that this country has to offer. We get to experience more freedom than anybody in the world. The fact that I can go out and have freedom of speech and say what I feel and what I think, it's also amazing in this country that we can come here and enjoy all these opportunities, create businesses, create our own world, create our own dream, and to know that you can go out and be whatever you want to be is a beautiful thing that should absolutely be celebrated on both sides.
Wow. Right on. She's amazing. Amala Ekpanobi grew up a leftist till that light bulb moment when she encountered racist black people. And I've been told by white virtue signalers that a black person can't be racist. Anybody can be racist. Anybody can be racist. There are racists from all races. They should be canceled. Which means most of the leftists in Congress should be canceled, but instead they're celebrated for dividing us. They are celebrated for hurting us, for dividing us. That's from Prager University, PragerU.com. You can find a lot of stuff there. It's a treasure trove of great stories, great information that you will love. Back with more. I'm John James.
1160 WSKW.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business.
I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
Decorate with items from Townline Antiques this spring to invigorate your home and your spirit. Do you love classic decor? You'll find enchanting artwork, glassware, signs, and hundreds more items around every corner. Or maybe you enjoy collecting books, comics, coins, sports memorabilia, watches, or classic electronics. Townline Antiques has cool, rare, and one-of-a-kind items that you won't find anywhere else. There are now more booths and extra space, so come see what's new, like a huge selection of stuffed animals, including an abundance of bears and bunnies just in time for Easter, and a new display of art glass that's absolutely dazzling. They're all expertly handcrafted into unique shapes and colors that are breathtakingly vivid. Trust me, you've just got to see them. And have you ever considered selling your items at Townline Antiques? Well, there are now only 2 booth spaces left in this beautiful shop, so be sure to contact them as soon as possible. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5 on Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassaboro Town Line.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Mostly cloudy for today with a chance for rain showers. Highs will be in the mid-40s to 50 degrees, but snow for southern Maine and the coast overnight. Only light accumulations expected, if any. Clearing skies on Friday, but cool and windy with highs in the 30s. Sunny and nice this weekend, 40s to near 50 degrees. Saturday, 50s on Sunday.
Freedom's Pep Rally, powered by the Gun Shop on Coney Circle in Augusta. Good morning, I'm John James. 11:43 right now. Just reading a report from Fox News here. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin warned North Korea today that U.S. forces are ready to fight tonight after the dictatorship condemned military drills taking place in South Korea. We told you about that yesterday. Well, I don't know if that's the right tack to take. I'm not a defense secretary. Lloyd Austin says that U.S. forces are ready to fight tonight. Okay. Just leave that right there. So let's see. I just checking out MSNBC, MSDNC. Chuck Todd's never editorializing station. Chuck Todd is a mook. By the way, in case you didn't know that, Chuck Todd is a nobody. He's a nobody. He's a leftist ideologue. He's a communist. He is a sympathizer. He wants Democrats to take control forever. That's who he is. Here's what MSNBC is peddling today. Intel reports warn of further violence sparked by Trump election fraud lies. And there's a picture of the rally at the Capitol on January 6th. So that's at the top of the page on MSNBC. Warnock, communist, Raphael Warnock at the top of MSNBC. The Americans are being squeezed out of their own democracy, says the man who said America needs to apologize for its worship of whiteness. Say hallelujah. Yeah, he's a preacher too. So he's up front. Another top story on MSNBC. The police appear to take the Atlanta shooter suspect at his word. That's a huge mistake. Racism had nothing to do with it. Racism, they want it to be about race. They want it. Do you see what they're doing? MSNBC and the rest, do you see what they're doing? It's clear to me. They want this to be about race. They want the killer. What if it was? It's one guy, and yeah, I don't care what your ideology is. There's going to be a lunatic in every situation where there are a lot of people, and there are 330 million in America. There's going to be a lunatic or two. Was this guy once? He says not. He said it had nothing to do with racism. It had to do with his ability to get chicks. But MSNBC says it's a mistake to take the Atlanta shooter at his word because your Pravda, wants it to be about race. It's what they're hoping for. Jim Crow is back and playing in all new states. These are all currently trending on MSNBC. All these. I mean, it sounds like Pravda. It sounds like propaganda news. It is. Where's the border crisis? Well, it's nowhere to be found. It's the biggest issue in the country right now, and they're talking about Jim Crow and further violence because of Trump. And Raphael Communist Warnock saying democracy is being squeezed out of Americans' hands. Let's see. Cancel culture is the least of Senator Ron Johnson's problems. Another dangerous Trump lie is just got debunked, but the damage. This is not news. Hello, Earth calling progressives. This is not news. Now let's go over on faux news. Some of the top stories on Fox News. Republican governor vows to keep critical race theory out of schools, boost funding for civics education. Defense Secretary warns North Korea U.S. forces ready to fight tonight. That's nowhere on MSNBC. That's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty bold statement. Don't you think that would be news? No, we need to talk about Jim Crow and Donald Trump's lies. What fools watch this? What total and complete ignoramuses watch this stuff and, worse, believe this stuff. Okay, let's see. What else do we have on Fox News? Reporter speaks out on Cuomo's behavior, unwavering eye contact. Very good point. And there's the border crisis is here. MSNBC, CNN rush to blame Donald Trump for for racism in the Atlanta shootings. They're liars. It's all editorializing. Chuck Todd says he boldly, this mook, this non-journalist, this little boy of a man with a twitchy beard, has the audacity to say there is no editorializing on MSNBC, on any of these NBC newscasts during the day. He says that, and then they all go and editorialize. That's all it is editorializing. Chuck Todd should be fired. He should be driven out of the country. Maybe he should go be an organizer in Venezuela or Cuba. He'd do better there. He's more in line with their way of thinking. He's got the money. Go, be happy, Chuck. Get off my TV set. Anyway, so that's all I'm going to do. I just wanted to run down the difference in the news coverage. Fox News is actually covering news, and MSNBC is peddling propaganda and opinion.
Get the upgrade you deserve.
Oh, shut up. Sorry about that. That was my fault. I take full ownership of that. Okay, so it's 11:50 right now. Man, the time flies by, doesn't it? I won't be here tomorrow. Mike will be here from 6 to 9, as always, on Legacy 1160 WSKW. So what do we want to wrap up? Oh, let's do a little news. Let's look at some of the stupid news. We're talking about the stupid media. Pocahontas. People are leaving California in droves. Why? Because the state is going full-on communist with their critical race theory and their racial tensions and job and business killing mandates, taxes through the roof, green energy edicts, hypocrisy in the governor's office, and the hands-off approach to crime. Utopia. People are leaving and going to Florida where it's free. They don't know why it's free. The progressives leaving California, going to Florida and Texas, don't know why they like it better there. So they'll try to change it to be more like California, and then they'll wonder, why the hell did things get bad all of a sudden? Well, if you want to know who the communists are in America, look to who supports California's way of doing things. They might as well be Cuba. They might as well be Cuba on the West Coast. Gavin Newsom is being recalled by voters who are tired of America's biggest state circling the drain, and now fellow communist, well, I'm not going to say the name, you probably already know it, fellow communist has stepped in and is begging for it to stop. The governor needs to stay. You can't get rid of Governor Newsom. He's doing such a great job with his progressive edicts. So who is this communist sympathizer? Well, really, she needs no introduction. And without further ado, let me see, what cut do we want? We want try cut M.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Warren, and in a moment, I'm going to ask you to join me in rejecting the Republican recall of Governor Gavin Newsom. But first, let me explain why. The Republican Party has found their latest cynical scheme to disrupt COVID recovery efforts and to rile up the Trump base by rallying around a campaign to recall Governor Newsom. Rather than allowing Californians to focus on vaccinations, reopening, relief, and recovery, Republicans want to spend millions of taxpayer dollars to recall Governor Newsom in the middle of a national crisis. So please, Join me and Democrats of all stripes to forcefully and unequivocally reject the Republican recall of Governor Newsom.
Oh, I love you so much, Pocahontas. You know I will. You know I'd do anything for you, Pocahontas. You fake Indian, you. I'd do anything for you. By the way, how many down and out oppressed people did you take advantage of to buy their real estate at very, very low prices and fix it up and sell it for very high prices? How many people did you put the screws to for your own riches, Pocahontas? And then deny it? Who? How many? I wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw her, and I couldn't throw her too far, I'll tell you that right now. So, more media idiocy. The raging racist. Joy Reid, the racist. She's a jolly, happy soul. She is MSNBC's raging racist. She had her dear friend, Lily White Governor Gavin Newsom, on her show, fawning all over the communist, job-killing, economy-destroying faux executive who is facing a recall. You can tell people by who they entertain. And she loves Gavin Newsom. She loves Gavin Newsom because he's a virtue signaler. She was curious as to who would fill Dianne Feinstein's California Senate seat if the Feinstein retires. Newsom would have the power to choose. And without fail, Joy Reid, the raging racist, brought race into the equation, because without driving that racist wedge in there, Joy Reid has nothing. Nothing. I don't even like your new hairdo. Only racist rage and little or no talent. Here is Joy Reid, the raging racist, asking Governor Newsom the all-important question.
Okay, we are out of time. I have to go to a break, but I have to, this is a yes or no answer that you could give me. If in fact, Dianne Feinstein were to retire, will you nominate an African-American woman to restore the seat that Kamala Harris is no longer in the United States Senate? And do you have a name in mind?
African-American.
I have multiple names in mind. We have multiple names in mind, and the answer is yes.
I am able to read these while I'm on the air, Laurie. I have to squint. I'm getting... Anyway, so didn't mean to jump there. So, yeah, she drives the wedge. She has to ask, is it going to be a black woman? Is it going to... Why not just somebody who can fill the seat? Who can fill the seat and is smart? Who is... can fog a mirror, maybe? Somebody who has intelligence, who has experience. No, has to be a black woman. Has to be. Who keeps driving race as part of the lexicon? It's not the right. It's never the right. It's these racist idiots like Joy Reid and Al Sharpton. If they would just shut up and go away, it would be a much better place. Hi, Laurie. Okay. So, wow, you've got a lot of stuff here. I want to address what you've got. Hi, she says hi. Maybe there's nothing in particular you want me to see, just asking if I could read them. A good education system. Florida's education system is operable, and they're not going to be teaching critical race theory, which is good stuff. Thank you for the good luck wishes, Derica. How much money did Democrats spend to try to kick out the president and knew it wouldn't oh my word. You know what? How much money went down the toilet? That's anybody's guess, Laurie. Millions and millions and millions. They were spending millions a week for 4 years to get rid of him. Unbelievable. And they're still focused on Donald J. Trump. Okay, one more media thing, then I've got to go. On Monday, CNN host Don Lemon lectured the Roman Catholic Church and Christians on The View, declaring, as if he had been given direct inspiration from God, that the traditional definition of marriage is not what God is about. He suggested that racial segregation and other forms of segregation are ultimately responsible for Christians' supposedly backward definition of marriage. Well, first of all, Don Lemon, get your facts straight, you meathead. The racial segregation is being done by the left, not the right. People are people are people. Bring them in. I don't care what color they are. I don't care what ethnicity they are. It'd be nice if they could speak English. But I don't care. Who is segregating? Columbia University. The schools, the people, the government, you. That's who's doing the segregation, Don Lemon. What an idiot. These people just don't understand. They are literally preaching to a bunch of ignorant sheep out there. They're saying this stuff. It is funny. If it wasn't being believed by so many people, you would just have to laugh at it. But people suck it down and they lap it up like a thirsty dog goes for a bowl of water. And then they echo it all over social media. Listen as Meghan McCain begins by showing a picture of Don, who is gay, and his fiancée. And this is cut L. Hold on, cut L. Yes, cut L. Here is Meghan McCain and Don Lemon.
Well, Don, to pivot, you got engaged to your fiancé, Tim, in 2019. And this morning, and you guys are so cute, we learned that the Vatican has said that the Catholic Church won't bless same-sex unions. Quote, since God cannot bless sin. They go on to say that this does not imply a judgment on persons. But I want to know, do you think this sends a damaging message? And how do you feel about that, given that obviously you are now engaged and going to get married?
Well, I think listen, I respect people's right to believe in whatever they want to believe in their God. But if you believe in something that hurts another person, that does not give someone the same rights or freedoms, not necessarily under the Constitution, because this is under God, I think that that's wrong. And I think that the Catholic Church and many other churches really need to re-examine themselves and their teachings, because that is not what God is about. God is not about hindering people or even judging people. And to put it in the context of race, I find that, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said the most segregated place on earth, time on earth, was 11 a.m. on a Sunday morning. So I think that religion and the pew keeps us from they're barriers from people actually getting to know each other. So I would say to the Pope and the Vatican and all Christians or Catholics or whomever, whatever religion you believe you happen to belong to out there, go out and meet people and try to understand people and do what the Bible and what Jesus actually said if you believe in Jesus, and that is to love your fellow man and judge not, lest ye be not judged.
What? Now, I believe it's judge not, lest ye be judged, for the record. But anyway, so we'll let that go. And secondly, God actually is about judgment. I mean, that's God's thing. He is the creator and the judge of all of humanity. I don't know where you're getting your crib notes from, but they're wrong. Actually, God is the only one who is supposed to. We aren't supposed to judge. I try to tolerate everybody unless they irk me. Live and let live. There's nothing wrong with that. Live and let live. You don't have to embrace everything. Just be tolerant. Just don't excoriate people for what they want to do. That's freedom. See, they want freedom, but they don't want freedom. They make no sense. They're so hypocritical is the best way to describe the left. If if you actually knew the Bible too, Dawn, you know that God actually does speak of same-sex relationships. Again, I'm not judging. I'm just trying to be factual. In your Cliff Notes, you might want to go and do a little looking in the Bible, get a concordance or whatever you get to study with, and look some of that stuff up. And, you know, you might see you're going to eat your words. But again, I'm not judging. I'm just stating factual information for you. I'm sure Dawn's listening to me right now, too. All right, that's it. That's all I got. Thank you for your well wishes. I appreciate that. And Mike Violette here tomorrow morning at 6. I'll be back on Monday morning at 9, Lord willing. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And I'll talk to you then. Remember, Freedom Rally in Augusta, Saturday, noontime at the State House. Be there and be free. See ya. That was lame. It's true, though. I'll be back Monday. See you then.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Incense and Peppermints doesn't just have a huge selection of scrumptious candies. They have sweet treats that'll bring back wonderful memories every time you share them. Incense and Peppermints has candy that's fun for the whole family, like Jelly Bellies, Smarties, Turkish Taffy, Mellow Cups, Laffy Taffy, and Necco wafers. And candy that'll take you on a trip down memory lane, like old-fashioned penny candies, root beer barrels, atomic fireballs, Mary Jane's Bit of Honey, and Jawbreakers. They even carry Maine favorites like Moose Poop and Saltwater Taffy. Incense and Peppermints, 48 Main Street in downtown Waterville.
At Rock Cycle and RV, we're excited to share our 2021 open house.